Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.
What is up, YouTube? My Cowboys family here, bringing you guys the latest update on our very own Dallas Cowboys. And of course, as always, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at My Cowboys Family, and of course, hop in the Discord, link for that's in the description box down below.
Yeah, guys, we're back. I know it's been a couple weeks since the draft. We wanted to let things simmer in Big D, see what comes out of that rookie mini camp, the voluntary, kind of, workouts, phase one of the OTAs.
Got the facts. I got my little tinfoil hat on for what I think might happen this year.
We want to know what you guys think as well, so hang in there. First and foremost, thank you for joining us again. The first one of this month, actually, I think the month of May, of a Cowboys chat here in MCF, My Cowboys Family with the wife MCW. And you can see the different subjects we're going to talk about in the title and more. There's some free agent stuff, some other stuff to discuss, but veterans, rookies, always Jerry Jones in the mix, but the schedule release, the Pickens situation. We're going to talk about all that and much more. New receiver, and on and on and on and on and on. So anyways, before we get rolling, though, let's give the shout out to those that deserve it, and shout out to the man from Hawaii, the man repping that star out there in the Pacific, Mr. Marco Sapien. Big shout outs to him. And he's basically the sponsor of the quarter, the last 3 months. So shout outs to him. Can't do this without you and your support, brother. And appreciate. And hey, listen, we might be going out there, believe it or not. So maybe if you listen to this on replay, that coffee is the bomb. So let it point us in the right direction. Anyways, on that note, let me continue by saying not only is he the top sponsor, he's on the top of the leaderboard, one of the top leaderboarders for this quarter, but Aussie is the current leader.
That's right.
Yeah, and Aussie, of course, is one of the star level members. As you guys know, we got the Star, Silver, the Navy Blue crew, which we have a new entry in the Navy Blue crew. Shout outs to Hayward Reed 5921. Welcome to the Navy Blue crew. You got those emojis and more here. So welcome to the family. But I also want to say that, we shout out those special members and not just the Navy Blue, but in that silver level and the over everything level and the star level. So without further ado, shout outs to those like Justin Quarles, the Q Man, David Lara, Top Dog Bay Bullies, Mr. Dwayne Broussard, and Hey, Lavelle, 70, that's right, 70 months as a silver membership subscriber here. So much love to him. Hey, Lavelle, the longest running member on our membership board. And then you got no over everything, which is a top shelf, but we got the star level members right up there. Like I said, Aussie, shout outs to you. Shout outs to JD Burton, who is our stream boss with 30 points currently, I think, or 25 points now, I think. And, of course, John Luna. Shout outs to you, brother. He's a Houston Texan fan, but he's an MCF family member. So much love to all you guys in all these levels. And of course, Haywood Reed, welcome into the family here on this side of things. Now, we'll get through this quick as we can, and get you to the rightful info for our Cowboys. There's a lot to catch up on. It has been a couple of weeks since we went live, so it has some shorts out there, some video shorts. Hopefully, you guys have been checking them out. In the meantime, we're gonna break it down, and of course, still shout out some of the other sponsors and shout out to the people that deserve it. Like I said, sponsor of the quarter, Marco Sepien, JD Burton, 30 points. I guess not 25, 30 points on the stream boss. And we also have NDN Boogie as our membership gifting champion for the quarter. Shout outs to him. He's still carrying that torch. Nobody on that board now for this quarter. So if you're in membership, you can gift memberships to random memberships to people. You can click the information for that one there, and also I think you can drop the exclamation points and all that stuff. But there's different ways of dropping the love here on the channel, and one of those ways is 4 of those ways are actually through the YouTube factors, right? The little $ there is the super chat, so that shows your message up on the screen, and it's part of the goal that we have here running. If we get $25 or higher, you guys are entered into a side raffle to get into a jersey raffle. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, there's different ways of dropping the love here and supporting the channel, which is super chats. There's thanks button, which is for any video, you can put that down. There's, like you saw here, the membership side of things. Shout outs to Haywood Reed, who is in the Navy Blue crew. And then, of course, if you're in the membership, you can then gift memberships as well. I think that's any level it works at. So shout outs there to Indian Boogie being the quarterly champion. But there is no leader on that side as of now. And, of course, there's 4 ways in the Cash App side, which, we call it the Cash App King. And that's Skeptical Fan. In case you didn't know, his name is up there. What are the 4 different ways of kind of the after dark ways of doing this?
You have, of course, the Cash App money sign My Cowboys Family, Venmo at My-Cowboys-Family, the regular PayPal link, and of course the backup PayPal link with that PayPal.me link.
Yeah, there's 2 options there. And also I want to say shout out to Skeptical Fan with the pre-stream drop, $5 holler.
You know it.
And he has moved up on that board, but in case you're wondering who is the you could say, PayPal, Cash App leader for this quarter, is not Skeptical Fan. Although he's on the board. I think he's on the board, but he's not the leader. The leader right now on the Cash App side is none other. Man, let me get to it if I can find it in time.
Yeah, why you do that?
There it is. Jeremy Betts. Just wanted to make sure you guys know. Jeremy Betts is the current leader. I would say maybe, like 50 cents over Skeptical Fan for this month. Shout outs to both you guys.
And Skeptical Fan, by the way, with his pre-stream $5 holler, said, "Go Cowboys, 11-6 for our record."
That's his record prediction.
Now, I did spoil it already and say I agree with his record prediction. But that, like I said, I'm saving my little tinfoil hat for the end of the stream for after Mr. MCF throws all the facts out there. Just a little thought about this season already.
Yeah, we'll talk about that and more. Of course, like I said, all of these things add up to, hey, you guys you can get into this raffle. All the star level members get 1 raffle entry. Anybody over everything gets 2 raffle entries, and the sponsor of the quarter gets a bonus entry as well. Those are the definites that are in. And then, of course, like I said, if someone drops like the whole amount on one shot, we call it a Luna drop. Someone drops a whole amount it covers the entire goal. You see 20 over there. Right now, we literally have 2. Technically have 2 out of the 20. So we need 18 to go. But if we hit that goal with a big drop, it covers the whole thing, then everyone is automatically in, and anybody who gives $5 or more later is also automatically into the raffle, automatically into the big raffle. If you don't do the 5 on it, and you know what I'm saying, and we get to the let's say we get $5 in increments, then those names will be all those names. Some of them could be doubled and tripled up. They get added into a side raffle, a pre-raffle, and then we pick out some names. I think what is it, 4 names out of there,
Yeah.
and put them into this here quarterly jersey raffle, sewn and stitched, by the way. And it can be any sport, it could be any team, it could be any name in the back, any number, any style, size, whatever it is. We deal with Cowboys, of course, most of the time, but it can be any sport, any team. It could be college, it could be MLB, NBA, NHL, soccer, et cetera, et cetera. So, anyways, I'll shut up because we got ourselves a drop here from the man, skeptical fan, and he has a request for our Dallas Cowboys. What did the man say?
With his $2 holler saying, "Can we please beat Seattle, Arizona, and the 49ers?"
Well, Arizona, I want to get over them after a while. You know how much my brother and I always argue about
I'm
that.
like, I don't even
Yeah.
know what to say if we can't beat them.
But we haven't beat them.
But
We
there's
haven't
so
beat them in
many.
years.
I know, but there's so many extra layers to why we would want to beat Seattle outside of them, obviously being the reigning Super Bowl champs. They've got some serious former Cowboys over there that we would love to, give a little bit of the smackdown to.
The Marcus
And
Morris
the
thing,
Niners, that's some generational beef.
Yeah.
No words
Fuck
need
the
to be said
Niners.
there.
Did I say it too early in the stream? Fucking Niners.
But yeah, even from a football perspective, obviously beating the former Super Bowl champs would be quite the feather in our cap and show that, we're a pretty serious team. I can
Oh,
say,
yeah. No, I agree.
Niners as well, because, for better or for worse, they're also looking like they're going to be a tough contender this year once more. Not as tough as last year, but you can never count them out of the mix fully. So.
Yeah. I agree. And that's the thing. You just don't know. I don't know.
And with that, baby, I know you went ahead and, gave all your intros. Let me go ahead and do the shout outs here in the
For
chat.
you know how it goes. Much love to everybody in the house. Drop your comment and we'll try to get to them. You know how to get our attention. Drop in the any kind of super chats or cash apps, whatever. We get them. We answer your questions. We dive into the details. Well, we got our details here. We're chock full of them tonight. Sit back, relax. Let's talk some Cowboys. Let's have a Cowboys chat.
That's
What
right.
was
Kicking it off with the man, Seabass. What is up, man? Thank you so much. I'll tell Mr. MCF to go check the Twitter messages, please, while you do that real quick. Skeptical fan always staying skeptical. And by the way, yeah, a little spoiler alert. Like I said, I agree with Mr. Skeptical fan as far as our record. But I will say, that's right. As of right now, that's like my baseline. I'm kind of fingers crossed hoping that my expectations go up rather than down from that 11-6 there, right? But like I said, let's not jump the gun too early. Aztec Aguilar 04, what's up? Who, by the way, said he's going to be at that Cowboys versus Rams game. Can't wait. Representing the Cowboys. Love to see it, Azteca. Manuel Trillo, what's up? How about them Cowboys? We got the Chuck Taylor 1 saying, "It's been a minute. Glad to see y'all back in action." Glad to be back in action. Definitely hoping to, get back into a much more regular MCF groove of things.
as the season gets rolling.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to training camp this year.
Yeah.
So, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, what's up? Happy Tuesday.
Daniel Berry now.
Kenzie Bands, what's up? Saying it's always a good night when MCF goes live. Glad to hear it. Dwayne Broussard, the top dog himself, with the classic Go Cowboys. Let me see. Rolling back. Just making sure we didn't miss anybody. Mike Aldana, what's up? Saying Osa pulling a Rico Dowdle on Richard Sherman's podcast.
Osa ain't that scary.
William Siegel, what's up? We put the pen to paper. Cowboys have been very busy so far this offseason, actually in a good way. Really excited to see it. So, baby, I'm not going to keep you too much longer here on our side. But since we already did start it off that way with Skeptical Fan, why don't you guys drop your early score predictions now, right? Like I said, don't hold me to it because it is way too early. But I'm definitely feeling 11-6. I think that's just right for a team who's got, as many bumps and bruises that we still have to kind of work through. A lot of questions still need to be answered in training camp. So.
Yeah, I agree. Damn. All right. Sorry. I was talking and I actually disconnected my microphone by accident. I apologize, guys. God damn. By the way, JD Burton, down to 28 points on that skeptical fan drop. And again, like I said, we're 2 in out of the 20 possible, right? If someone drops a Luna drop, so it's what, like 90? That would solidify everybody in the automatically be put into the raffle. No, there's no pre-raffle for anybody that's dropped that or in that, and anybody afterwards who drops 5 or more is automatically in. But that's only if there's a quote unquote Luna drop. We can rename it to your name, I guess. There's been Hope Marco Seppian drops, Seabass drops, who knows, JD Burton drops, and on and on. Anyways, let's drop some news info and updates. Yeah, I did mute myself, Mike. But I'm going to start with kind of just general kind of NFL quickie news here.
Yeah, and by the way, real quick, just before you get it going, Seabass, it's all good. Again, if for whatever reason, just try to get it worked out on YouTube side. If not, we got you for the next one, and we'll make sure to try to, give you that proper credit while YouTube sorts its shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the YouTube side.
So that's what I'm saying. Well, we'll give you YouTube. You got 24 hours to fix your shit. Anyway, back to you. Officially.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that I mean, maybe some maybe refreshing the screen. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. But I don't know. I don't know what the details here. Let me give you some details of what's going on in the NFL. So again, this is all in the last couple of weeks, but this is actually officially today. This was passed. There was a meeting of the owners and kind of the rule makers of the NFL. The city of Nashville, Tennessee, has been awarded Super Bowl 30. Oh, I'm sorry, Super Bowl 65, I think it is, or 64, as the Music City, quote unquote, right? As in Nashville, going to host the Super Bowl in February of 2030. NFL owners approved that today, so you guys know. So that's where in 2030, that's the year. I guess it'll be the 2029 season. But the 2030 Super Bowl will be in Nashville, Tennessee. As far as the draft and draft locations, every city's kind of getting their opportunity to see the draft in their town. Minnesota is going to host the NFL draft in 2028. They're the next ones I just announced today, with US Bank Stadium serving as the hub. So that's going to be where the draft is going to be held, in the actual stadium, similar to the Cowboys. If you remember back when we had ours, we actually attended that. One last thing, which I don't know if people knew, the referees were thinking about maybe, sitting out the season, basically holding out. NFL Referee Association earlier, I guess you could say in the weeks, ratified a new 7-year collective bargaining agreement with the NFL, concluding a multi-year negotiation, eliminating the possibility of work stoppage for the referees in the NFL. So that's a good thing. We don't have to worry about this year, into the season. Now, I will say today, also another big news breaking kind of situation, not involving the Cowboys, thank goodness, is Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice. You guys remember, it did happen in Dallas, the car accident was a major issue. And that, basically led him on a probation. Probation, he couldn't do certain things. Well, today he violated his probation. He tested positive for marijuana, smoking weed, and you can say you don't agree, or weed is not a big deal. That's the terms of his probation. He's a schmuck. He fucked up. He's an idiot. So Rashee Wright tested positive for weed. He's been ordered to serve now 30 days in jail, which means he's going to miss the Kansas City Chiefs OTAs and their mandatory minicamp. So, that's a big part of the kind of getting the team cohesiveness and getting together. That's a major deal. And just for clarity, again, this is the original 30-day sentence that was part of him pleading guilty to a felony collision involving serious bodily injury back in Dallas when he was racing on a highway, and then there's also causing bodily injury in a multi-crash, situation, multi-car crash in Dallas of May 2024.
So that means he has to serve it all out.
Right, he has to serve his 30 days. It's only 30 days. But okay, he's missing a lot of, Chiefs camp, mini camp, mandatory mini camp. Look, me. I'm not. No, weed's not a big deal. Getting punished for testing positive for weed is stupid, right? In almost any scenario except for this one. You're an idiot. I'm just saying there's certain rules. You fucked up bad, and now you can't smoke weed. You smoke weed, you break your probation. You got to suffer the consequences. He's going to jail for 30 days,
Yeah.
and he's lucky it's only that. But again, given his past issues, that the fact that he's on probation, he's been fucking around a lot. There is no defense for him, puffing on some green. So again, all-time bad decision making by Rasheed Rice, in my opinion. Any thoughts by you or the chat, maybe?
I concur, and
Idiot.
he's lucky that, he's privileged enough where he doesn't just get his ass, clapped in handcuffs and dragged into the station like most of us would be if we violated our parole. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he gets to basically almost handpick the timing
Hmm.
of it a little bit, right?
No,
And
I
by
mean,
that I just mean a few days. He gets to make himself comfortable, get his affairs in order, type of shit, right?
I guess there's that, but there's a comment. I guess there's that too. I think it's more to me more of a pattern of behavior from him, and
Oh, I agree.
that to me is the issue.
I
Yeah.
doubt that this is gonna exactly teach him responsibility. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So, anyways, yeah. Listen, Rashid. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts, but I'm pretty sure one probably agrees that he's an
you
idiot
see,
for
Beth said
this.
it. Honestly, the timing and him being on parole, he knew better.
Yeah,
He fucked up, and that's solely on him. Exactly.
100%,
Out of
100%.
when you're on parole, you do have to play by extra rules than most other
Yeah,
people. Can't follow that.
yeah,
Too bad, so sad.
yeah.
So
The privilege.
he also said, YouTube, don't subject me to that Vietnam Wi-Fi.
I
YouTube's out here
don't know what's
typing in
going on.
pretend words, pretend things that Mr. Seabass definitely didn't say. So I don't even know what to say.
Listen, YouTube's been messing up a lot with their AI systems and stuff like
Seabass, are you
this.
sure that you are real? Are you not? Are you an AI robot person? Let me know.
At least
That's a joke, but maybe that's what YouTube thinks.
I
Maybe
don't know. They
YouTube
all
is,
messed up.
thinks you're a robot.
I do know at least that Hayward Reed's dropped there to jump into membership. The membership works.
Yeah.
I do know that Skeptical Fan dropped a 5 and a 2, so I know that works. So at least we know that's good. And we got 2 out of 18, 2 out of 20. That means we have 18 drops to go to get in that side raffle to the big raffle, right? To try to get into the big raffle. So, anyways,
Well, the one nice thing about this football situation, at least as well, is that somebody else's problem, not the
yeah,
Cowboys' problem.
exactly. It did happen in Dallas, but it's not a Cowboy issue. Now, former Cowboy veteran edge rusher Dante Fowler Jr., who came back to the Cowboys after being with the Washington Commanders last 2 years ago, came back to the Cowboys. He agreed to terms with the Seattle Seahawks, joining with DeMarcus Lawrence over there on a 1-year deal worth up to $5 million. So him and DeMarcus Lawrence will be meeting him. We'll tell you when we play them in December, shortly. I think December 7th. So there was also the Reliant Home Run Derby for the Cowboys. It happened to be the same day as the schedule release. And the big news I want to say about that, I'm not going to read quotes and waste your guys' time and get you bored on that. I'm going to just give you the important information, which is about this guy, Marvin Overshown. You want to know a little update on his knee, the injury, and all that stuff? He said he is completely healthy and he's no longer wearing a knee brace. Big
Great.
news, big news, big news, and it's great news to see him working his way back, and he's going to be all right. It looks like he's going to be all right. Now, when it comes to jersey sales and rookies, there's Cowboy domination once again. And just to be blunt about it. And of course, you guys know Caleb Downs gets down. Now he don't have the number 2 jersey. He's got the number 13 because he had 18, then he had 13. But his jersey, 18 or 13, it doesn't matter, ranks number 1 of all rookie jerseys in the NFL.
Mhm.
Caleb, and his jersey's going to
What's the
change. An 18 jersey, it's already obsolete. 13 jersey, get ready for that to change. And Kobe Durant has number 2. We'll see if that ever changes. That's my hope and prediction that he gets that number 2 or gets number 20 or something a little bit more solid. Because I ain't buying no jersey, but I will be buying the jersey as soon as we know his number. But right now, we don't know it yet. But he is number 1 amongst all rookies in the NFL. And Malachi Lawrence, this guy right here, he's actually number 3 in sales when it comes to jerseys. So the Cowboys have number 1 and number 3 when it comes to our first and our second round pick. So, pretty cool there. Just a little kickoff again, getting known guys that have high potential. Now, Couple free agent possibilities after the draft. I'm not going to dive deep into free agency because it's all just talking heads bullshit.
Yeah.
There's no reality or back into this. It's just people's hopes or thinks or thoughts. But I'll say two quick names that maybe the Cowboys may be looking as a fit. You could say at running back is an option. Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's a powerful little guy. He's probably maybe one of the best free agency fits for the Cowboys. Um, the thing is, like, does he have enough in the tank to provide something for the Cowboys and not lessen time on some other running backs you may want to be out there performing on a more consistent basis? Yeah, you don't want to take up, you don't want to waste snaps for your guys you're going to keep and are sure of. So Nick Chubb might not be your best option, but maybe as a depth guy, maybe as a veteran guy, there's an option there. Also, another option on the defensive side of the ball is a pass rusher named Joey Bosa. Joey Bosa, formerly of the Los Angeles Chargers, a guy who could be a fit for the Cowboys. Um, I don't know. I mean, I'm sorry. Is he? No, is he a Bills player now? I don't know. I'm trying to think. Is he the Chargers guy? I think he's a Chargers guy. Either way, he was playing with the Bills, I think. Um, and he did play elite when he was with Buffalo. So again, that means the only biggest deal with him is his injuries. So all his injuries, all his banged up, his long injury histories to me make him also one of those guys you don't want to overspend on him or Chubb for guys that don't have much or usage or ability, whether injury or old left. Again, as far as free agents, I would look at more a linebacker. I still say Bobby Wagner. If he's even available, that's the guy I would target because he's a veteran, a run stopper, and can help everybody in Christian Parker's run defense at least. Now, I don't know. Any comments, quick, maybe in the chat or before I keep it moving?
No, you can go ahead and keep it moving because we're talking about a different topic, and I want to make sure that we.
All right, we flow. All right, let's.
Yeah, because it's easier to come back to these comments when we
Definitely.
get to that.
So let's flow. Now you see on the thumbnail is an unhappy man there, number 3, franchise tagged and now officially signed, George Pickens. So George Pickens, a guy that is a little diva-ish, right? But we knew this already. The Cowboys, their current players heading into rookie minicamp is at what was at 90 at 85.
Yeah.
You get a total of 90 is the limit. They had 85. I know the Cowboys signed it. I think they signed 2 others, maybe 3 others. But either way, we have a 5, 5 or a little less spots for guys here. But we invited some guys in the rookie minicamp.
I mean,
Signed one of
Joey
them.
Bosa played for the Bills last.
Okay, he played for the Bills last. Yeah, that's why I was saying the Bills.
Skeptical.
Thanks, skeptical. But before that, he was with the Niners, right? No, he was with the Chargers, right?
I think it was the Chargers.
Yeah. So I was confused with
Maybe
the Bosa.
I almost wanted to say the Rams. I'm like, it was Cali, but no.
No, it's San Francisco and the Chargers. But I don't know. He went there with the Bills one year. Now, he is productive, but again, injuries are a question. And also, he'll be overpriced on name, in my opinion. But anyways, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Look, training camp answer some questions. These other, OTA stuff also answer some questions. But let's answer this question about what's going on with George Pickens, wide receiver. So with undrafted guys, and I'll talk about them a little later, rookies and some guys that we signed actually, we signed one guy out of the rookie minicamp who's not a rookie, but he looked good enough that we signed him onto our roster, our 90-man roster. It was about 85 heading into rookie minicamp. I think it's at 88 or 89 now. That includes all the undrafted guys. So there's some roster flexibility still remaining for the Cowboys. But here's the deal. George Pickens did not arrive at the team facility at the time earlier in these 3 weeks to sign that franchise tag, right? Cowboy voluntary workouts, were beginning, and people were like, what's going on? Is he going to be here or not? Is he going to sign his franchise tag or not? Well, the expectation was actually during the draft that he was going to sign his tag before the draft or right before the first round, and he never did. So then we're like, okay, what's going on? Well, basically, right after the draft ended, guys, and after our last live stream, Cowboys wide receiver George Pickens officially signed the franchise tag. It's going to be a guaranteed amount, and you can't move that money down and move it down for years later. You got to use it on this salary cap, $27.3 million in 2026. That's the hit, which is worth it to me. Now, the Cowboys can still trade George Pickens. Keep that in mind. If Pickens wants it and the Cowboys want to. But Stephen Jones said that they have no intention of doing this, and I'll explain in a minute. Cowboys also like what Pickens brought to the table this year, but they're not ready to give out $40 million in money and an extension. And they announced earlier this month that they're not going to negotiate. Last month, and they said they're not going to negotiate a long-term deal before the July 15th deadline. So I guess Pickens is like, fuck it. I'll just sign it now here before the voluntary workouts and then skip them because that's what he did. But I'll explain in a minute. Either way, guys, Dallas has been candid about the difficulty of paying two top receivers, the top market money kind of for the receivers. So Cowboys voluntary offseason program began with the rookie mini camp, and then the voluntary workout, which is kind of phase one of the OTAs. And again, just because I said Pickens signed the tag doesn't mean he's going to attend, including even minicamp. He can take mandatory minicamp. He can take the fines. He has the money now to do that if he wants to. Now, let's keep track. The update today. All right. And when the Cowboys had the first team workout and all the way to the last team workout up to today's workout, George Pickens, since he signed his franchise tag, was not present. He was absent from practice, from voluntary practice. So right now, no fines, but also not showing up there. And even though the workouts do have high team attendance, mainly because I know there's some stuff written in contracts for these voluntary workouts, but not in a franchise tag. So that is the difference there. You can't. It's a set thing for a franchise tag. So he can do whatever. He could be in Cabo right now, chilling. So
I'm not stressing about it too much, just because honestly, pretty much every single picture I've seen of Pickens this offseason, he's been somewhere in CeeDee Lamb's vicinity in some way. So he seems pretty what I'm saying is he seems well connected and well tuned into what the team is doing.
Well, let's continue because here's the thing that's interesting. So all these OTAs and voluntary workouts, it's all voluntary. Nothing is mandatory until June 16th.
Okay.
And so less than a month away. Then he's got to show up. Or he gets fined. And it adds up. We know Zach Martin did that. We know other players have done that. But the one thing we do know for sure as a fact is that he's been doing throwing sessions on the side with Dak Prescott, the quarterback for the Cowboys. So that's good news. That's very good news there. And Dak Prescott himself was asked about this, and he said that he's thrown with George Pickens this offseason, quote, as much as needed and no different than normal, end quote. He also said that they will practice away from the facility more and more as the offseason continues and goes on. So again, that's why you said he feels contacted because he is connected. He is it's Dak and Pickens, and probably in Dak's yard, in his field, and they are still connecting there, even if it's not in the actual, let's say, quote unquote scheme or on the workout side of things. It's just the first level, guys, first phase. But yeah, Dak and Pickens have been working out together. And they also asked Dak about Pickens and conversations they may have had recently. Dak said, quote, I'm just showing George my support. The guy that I know George is, obviously, he signed the franchise tag. So he has to be there and he has to be ready to play. And he's going to be there. And he's a hell of a talent. End quote. Now, of course, we know, the hell of a talent. But the point is that him being closely kind of tied in with him and throwing to him in this offseason, don't fret. I think we're in good shape. I know you said it seems kind of well connected. There's a little more proof. Dak's almost giving you the okay, saying, listen, he knows the deal. He's got to be there with the franchise tag. He's just, right now, he's going to do his own thing. It's not mandatory for him to be there. He's going to do his own thing. But they're connecting on the sideline, and he'll be there for the mandatory mini camp is what we're hearing. Now, he could be there and quote-unquote injured, but he won't get fined. And then, of course, training camp, which he will, I suspect, will be fully partaking in at the end of July. So that's the situation there based off of Dak's comments as recent as a couple days ago, the home run derby. Which is, like I said, Thursday. So the last Thursday. I'm just saying these things were said then. Good news there, even if he's not at the current voluntary, OTAs and, practices. Any quick thoughts on this from you, baby? I think you kind of made your comments. Yeah. Any other comments from the chat or anyone else on this?
See.
On Pickens.
Yeah, no, Seabass said, Pray that they pay and keep him here, but not at that money value. They have to acknowledge the fact that multiple NFL executives came out publicly and admitted it was extremely difficult to schematically game plan for Lamb and Pickens.
Mm.
And one of those guys was Christian Parker.
Yeah.
So,
But you got to pay $40 million.
Oh, yeah, well,
That's the
you
problem.
don't get good things without paying good money for them.
So,
I think that there's a way to make it happen. I just don't think that the costs are worth it when you consider how many more personnel we still need to get on this team. Like, that to me is the bigger
yeah.
problem there.
Huh.
But it's hard to deny that Pickens isn't worth it. He is.
I mean, he's worth something for sure. I mean, he's a great player, but is he worth $40 million when you're ready to pay a guy 35? And I say you just can't. Especially somebody who's a diva who could explode at any moment, Antonio Brown style. You know what I mean? That's what scares me a bit.
I guess the other bigger argument is, do you want to invest all that money on these receivers when, you might still have questions about what you're doing in the future for quarterback? I'll leave that there. In the sense
Again,
of,
it's
the
coming
point is that
soon.
we know it's
I
coming
mean,
soon.
yeah.
Do the Cowboys want to have that much heavy investment in a position that's so dependent on the other one also being invested? Like, you got my point?
Yeah,
So,
I get it.
a lot easier to maybe wiggle out of a CeeDee Lamb situation if and when that
Yeah,
time
but
comes.
again, you've made this great point. CeeDee Lamb is number 88, and we ain't gonna let him go and replace him just because Pickens is here. So that's the thing. But yeah, I mean, people would definitely want CeeDee Lamb in a trade. Then you're talking about now you're taking CeeDee Lamb, replace him with a diva kind of guy who's maybe.
Seabass, I guess YouTube's pulling a Jerry Jones on you. I don't know. Not sure what to say there, man. I am so sorry that YouTube is fucking you over that way.
I don't know why YouTube is. I mean, again, it's had problems, but there should be no reason.
It's pulling a Jerry Jones on you.
There should be no reason why that's happening to you, brother. I want to give, because that would get us like 40 away or something like that if he wants to go into. So that would make it very attainable tonight.
Yeah.
For that, but damn, that's too bad. I can't do that. We can't do that through. He's going through.
Jerry Jones's glory hole strikes again.
If he's going through the membership side of things, maybe the best if you want to send it another way, and we will. Once it gets approved, we will carry it over. Even if it's not showing it, we will carry it over somehow, some way, so you are eligible for the next raffle, whenever it is. Just in case you were interested in doing that. But yeah, if YouTube's fucking you over and they're giving you issues, man, to get that stuff fixed first.
Skeptical feels like the easier answer is just to draft a receiver next year. Like in next year's draft.
That's an answer, but like you just heard them say, the scheming of both of these particular guys is what's difficult. It's not just another good receiver. It's a receiver like Pickens and a receiver like CeeDee Lamb. Well, that's the problem that Christian Parker is saying.
First round pick
doesn't mean it's a Pickens. You know what I'm saying? Pickens is a different kind of guy. He's a chancy guy, attitude wise, but he is a special kind of receiver. Only certain things he can do that only certain receivers can do.
So then
you get another type of guy. Another type of receiver.
Even more controversial thing. Do it again. Take your first round pick, trade it to another team for another George Pickens. I'm just saying, like, if you can't keep George Pickens and you want the next best thing, find the next George Pickens. Find the next dude who's up for that big money hungry contract. That's maybe on a team that you got my point. Like,
well, we're going in the same circle.
Going to be at least okay. So,
well, here's what I think the best answer is we leave this.
You still end up in the same.
The best answer, I think, is kind of what you said. Is what about the quarterback situation and even coaching situation? To me, we got Calvin Richard in the house dropping that 5 on it. We got 17 to go. I'm counting in my head, 17 to go. I know it says price says 1, but we got 17 to go. Won by the membership drop and the pre-stream drop by Mr. Skeptical Fan. So we got ourselves 17 spots before we hit that raffle, the pre-raffle goal. But yes, much love. I do want to say one thing that I'm losing. I'm losing. I want to read this comment here in a minute. I was going to say I think as we end the George Pickens thing, and maybe it's a George Pickens comment here. I think it is finding a quarterback, a coach, a kind of scheme that's going to fit the next receiver. CeeDee Lamb will be here. which is the kind of guy that we need to complement him with, whether it's the next quarterback or the next coach, offensive coordinator, whoever it may be. Because Clayton Adams, he's in this accelerator program. He's going to be a head coach soon, so he's not going to be around more than a year or two. So my point is that when that changes and when our quarterback changes, that's when we have to kind of say, okay, now we got to figure out a good mix and match of a quarterback, a scheme, and that second receiver to go along with CeeDee Lamb. So I mean, that's my 2 cents on that.
Richard,
I don't think it's going to be this guy number 3, George Pickens, but I want to know what Mr. Calvin Richard had to say.
with his $5 saying, "What's up, guys? I can't wait to see what this defense is going to look like."
I'm excited about.
We've
the
had
defense.
2 years of no defense at all.
I'm very excited about this defense. In the sense as excited as I can be when it comes to, the way the Cowboys hype up their guys all the time. But the defense seems, with Caleb Downs, if he's what I think he can be, knock on wood, nothing bad happens.
Yeah,
I think we got ourselves a great situation. Yeah.
No, I had said it earlier in the stream/chat. My only real concern defensively is with our new scheme, how many of our old guys are going to be able to hang, so to speak, because I'm expecting/anticipating that at least a few of them don't quite adjust as much or as quickly or as smoothly as maybe we want. Right.
But
outside, what I'm saying is that the newer guys, the younger guys, I feel like they will adapt much quicker. Guys like, for example, Seabass and I were talking about Overshown, and he got himself Mulligetta. He's got this big agent. He wants to get paid, but he's going on 2 years now where it's like, hey, injury or other situations didn't quite work out that way. So you have to put up in a big way this year, not just from a, hey, we need you to do it, from a personal perspective on his side. So, like I said, hard for me to really put my finger on it just now without training camp or anything else to be like, okay, these are the guys, maybe keep an eye out for, maybe they're still adjusting, maybe it's going to take them a little longer. So, but credit where credit's due, Christian Parker apparently is very good at bringing these guys up to snuff very quickly and being, kind of a Dan Quinn-esque as far as like being good at explaining things and showing things, like
especially
coaching guys
in the second level where Quinn was great at teaching at the defensive line level.
Exactly. So, so who knows? Maybe it is just one of those like growing pains and everyone's on board by like week 6 type of shit. Who knows? I don't know.
I think it's something that they actually let him have the keys in a big way on defense. And he's brought in guys, whatever the guys allowed in the free agency that the Cowboys allowed them to spend on that side of the ball on defense. And they allowed him to take over the draft to get the guys he needed. So, yeah, most of these guys are young. Most of these guys already, like Louis Fowl, Overshown, and fit this scheme and this system automatically. Some of these guys that are never coming back, you're never going to see no Eric Kendricks or no Kenneth Murray, none of them scrubs. And maybe that's why Bobby Wagner's not here. Not that he's a scrub, but he just doesn't fit the Christian Parker flying around speed defense. That he's getting the guys that he needs with the best that they can offer him in free agency. He got Withers, D. Winters from the Niners, a good young guy who's flying around the ball all the time. He's getting guys that at least fit his type of scheme. I do think the majority of guys that we have, even if they've been here, kind of do fit his scheme in some ways. So I do think that's a positive there from Christian Parker, and he's coming in and thankfully getting. I think he's getting more respect and more of the keys than Schottenheimer is. I think he's the future for the Cowboys when it comes to a head coach if he can perform the way that I think every single other owner, other coach in the league thinks he's going to perform. So we'll see what happens. I don't want to overhype it, but there is real reality that this guy is a real deal, and if he can throw it right away, it's just going to accelerate his potential to be our eventual coach or our eventual leader of this team. And he seems that he can do that. But hey, let's not jump the gun. Let's see what happens. We got another one here from Mr. Calvin Richard, who, by the way, J.D. Burton drops to 18 points, and now we're down at what? We got 4 total. I know it says 2, but we got 4 total hits.
Yeah.
16 more hits before the stream ends. We'll see what happens. Mr. Calvin Richard, what did he have to say? What did he have to say with that 5 on it?
He said, I heard that twice. We have 3 games in 11 days. That's going to be a lot of strain on the players health-wise.
Yeah, there will be. But we'll talk about the schedule in a moment. That's actually coming up very soon. I wanted to clear out some of the I say financials, but the situation going on when it comes to mainly the receiver side of things. which is George Pickens, and actually another person, if you don't mind me saying, we just signed him about a week and a half ago. Wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Another wide receiver, guys. Yeah. So just in case you didn't know, he's had several stops throughout his 8-year playing career in the NFL. He suited up with the San Francisco 49ers and the Steelers last year. Now, he has 219 catches for 3,686 yards and 21 touchdowns since he entered the league in 2018. He was in Green Bay, did well there, actually. And from 2018 to 2021, he was there. And then he went to Kansas City for 2 seasons, 2022 and 2023. After that, Valdez-Scantling had a brief stint with the Buffalo Bills, the New Orleans Saints, and the Seahawks, kind of fading away there in 2024. And like I said, in 25, he was with the Niners and the Steelers last. He is 6'4". Now, big guy, right? 206 pounds. His best season was in 2020. He caught 33 catches, 690 yards, and 6 touchdowns with the Packers. If he puts up those numbers for us, fantastic. That's be our 4th or 5th guy, possibly. I mean, he's not going to break the top 3. I mean, he may start off as our 3rd guy because he's a veteran. But how long is that staying for? We'll have to wait and see. There's a lot of the formations we're going to use. It's not going to evolve. And sometimes at the goal line, you might want to involve 2 taller guys out there in the corners. And then Scantling comes in, right? So, again, these are the options you have. Again, when you look at the Cowboys and what they're getting with him, and not in the past, not in 2020, in 2026, basically, last year he appeared in 10 games. Split time, like I said, between San Francisco and Pittsburgh. Last year he had 14 catches for 120 yards and 1 touchdown. So obviously, crap. When you look at the Cowboys receiver room, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, I'm going to say Ryan Flournoy. Because there's no more no more Turpin. Not Turpin. There's no more Tolbert there. So I'm going to say Ryan Flournoy is kind of the main receiver. Then you got Turpin. Kamate Turpin. Don't forget, we still got Jonathan Mingo, though I don't know, we gave a 4th-round pick for him for what reason. We just drafted a 7th-rounder, Anthony Smith. And, of course, we have now Marquez Valdez-Scantling. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew our roster as it's growing throughout this week. When you look at the new numbers that are getting passed around, let me know what you guys think. Because PJ Locke, the guy we picked up from the Broncos as a free agent, got number 1. Number 2, like I said, was taken already before the draft by Kobe Durant. And a free agent that we got from the Los Angeles Rams, cornerback. Number 6, he was Donovan Escorazu was previously number 41. Now he is number 6, so keep that in mind. Number 6, Ezuraku. Number 7, let's give it to Rashawn Gary, the guy we got from the Green Bay Packers. Edge rusher, solid edge rusher. Now, our 3rd string, to Milton, quarterback. Sam Howell from the Eagles. From Washington. Number 13 for him right now. Although, so is someone named Caleb Downs, number 13. So they both have 13 at the moment. Darian Kendrick, a guy we have on this team now, he's number 15. Jalen Thompson, a guy we picked up from the Cardinals, is a free agent, number 34. Matt Hennessy, offensive lineman, number 72. Tyrus Wheat, we've had him for a bunch of years on our practice squad and on and off our 53-man roster. Tyrus Wheat moved over to number 90. Atito Ogbonia, but I think he's the guy that we did pick up as the international program. He's number 91. Kenny Clark, who previously was number 95, is now number 97. So Kenny Clark, not 95, 97 now. And Jonathan Bullard, we have on this team, number 98. Those are the new players with a new name, with the new numbers that we have on this team. By the way, Malik Hooker officially today switched in his old number 24. He switched up his old number 28 and moved it to number 24, which is his old Ohio State Buckeye jersey. You think he's trying to create something up there at safety with Caleb Downs, little Buckeye duo there? I don't know. It feels like he's going back to his old Ohio State days. He's going with Ohio State number there, number 24. He's getting rid of 28. So now Malik Hooker is number 24 because of his Ohio State days. Um, by the way, because now 28 is open, guess who's taking that? Siobhan Ravel. He lost 34. Jalen Thompson got that one. So Siobhan Ravel is taking number 28 as a result of Jalen Thompson taking his number. Um, and just so you guys know, he wore 34 as a rookie last year. Jalen Thompson is listed with that number, like I said. But Hooker and Ravel had the same numbers. Like I said, number 28, and Hooker moved to 24. So just so we all get it on the same boat, on the same kind of area there when it comes to the jerseys and what's going on. But again, all of this is up in the air in the end when before the cuts. And all these things are subject to change when it comes to even veterans. Now, we'll talk about the rookies in a minute, but first we talked about the veterans now. Let's talk about the rookies. Let's talk about the schedule. Because that's something I think we all wanted to kind of discuss here real quick. I know Calvin Richard had some questions there, some thoughts. Let's get to it. And you guys already know the schedule is not a big surprise, but I'm going to put it up on the screen so we all know we got here, right? So, when you look at the actual games that we have to play, again, not necessarily the most, fun schedule, but it's not the most disappointing schedule either, in my opinion. As you can see here, preseason, we get the Seattle Seahawks, the Arizona Cardinals, both on the road, and then we get one home game in preseason because we were supposed to get a bonus home game in the regular season, which, of course, is basically taken away because of that third game with the Ravens in Rio. But our last preseason game is usually at home, and this one it is again against the Saints. So those are the three preseason games up there in the upper left. The times and dates to be announced still. As you can see, our schedule begins with the Giants on Sunday, September 13th, Sunday Night Football. Washington Commanders in Dallas, our opening home game on September 20th. As the late game of the day or the later game, the afternoon game. We got the Baltimore Ravens in Rio. Unfortunately for the Cowboys, it's supposed to be our home game, but it's in Rio. It is at basically the late game, the afternoon game for the Cowboys in our time zones. But it will be that'll be week 3. Week 4, we get the Houston Texans there on October 4th as an early game, I guess you could say, but that is on the road. Then we go back home against the Buccaneers, October 8th, a night game there, as you can see, a Thursday night game. So kind of a quick turnaround there. Then we get a 10-day break before we get to the Green Bay Packers on October 18th as a night game there, Sunday night game, Monday night game. Then the week after that against the Eagles. Both of these games, by the way, on the road. Go over there to the Cardinals there. Can we beat these fucking Cardinals? We haven't beat them in like 8 games straight, and we're in Dallas again. Can we beat the Cardinals on November 1st there as the early game? The Cardinals should have trouble with an early game. Come on. We should be able to handle them at home. We got the Colts on the road the following week as the 2 early games back-to-back for the Cowboys, 1 home, 1 away. Then we get to a big game against the Niners there in the afternoon game on November 15th. Quick turnaround. I'm sorry. Then we get another week there for the Titans. Come on now. Can we beat the Titans? We get 3 straight home games here. The Niners, the Titans. Although it is an early game, we get the Titans. And then we get our Thanksgiving game, which is the Eagle game there. Again, the afternoon later game on Thanksgiving against the Eagles in Dallas. We're plucking their feathers and plucking some Eagle on Thanksgiving. And then we get a little bit of a break there, another little bye, I would say. And then we get the goddamn world champion Seahawks in Seattle, 12th man, tough place to play. It's going to be, I'm ready to have some fun with it more than we have nothing to lose, but we'll see how these teams are by the time we get to week 13. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What's up, Aaron? But Seabass said, what the fuck they're talking about over there at PFF? Toddlers could see reality better.
Listen, here you're seeing that Seattle game. It's like a little bye week before that with the Eagles. And, in a sense, we had a quick turnaround for the Eagle game, but after the Eagle game on Thanksgiving, we got a little, like a 12-game break.
Long break.
And then we get the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. And then we get another bye week. So it's almost like, guys, if we can get some wins in these first 10 games of the season, these first 13 games of the season, we got ourselves a nice setup there for resting some players, getting some guys back. Going to be some guys injured for that final run. I know some people are not happy with the schedule. I'm not too mad with it. Now, after the bye week, we finished the last 4 games of the year, starting December 20th in the afternoon, later game at LA. We get the Jacksonville Jaguars in Dallas on a night game there, it looks like, a Sunday night game. We get the Giants in Dallas, back-to-back night game, back-to-back home games for the Cowboys. That second one is the early game in Dallas. And then we finish the year somewhere either on Saturday or Sunday, which is January 9th or 10th. We don't know the time yet. They always wait for that one to see how important that game is against the Washington Commanders. So kind of the way we start the season, we end the season a little bit, but we end it on the road. So that is the basics of the schedule. Now, before we kind of go and say who's going to win or what, I'm not really good at. I'm not really a guy who's going to predict many of these games. I can tell you what I think or who should win, but things change with injuries, with teams. I mean, there's moves made throughout the season, so it's hard to tell how good or bad these teams are going to be as of now. We knew we were going to get a kind of a second place schedule there, tougher schedule, but the way I look at this, are the Cowboys' defense improved enough to get back into the playoffs? Obviously, we have a top offense with CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Dak Prescott at quarterback, our offensive line, tight end, etc. We are one of the best offenses in the NFL, but can our defense improve to at least being in the top 20? If we could be in the top 20, we should get back to the playoffs at the very least. I would love to get more than that, but I'm not going to bite off more than we can chew here. Let's just get to like an 18th team, 18th ranked defense, a 15th. I'll take a middle of the road defense, but that would get us back in the playoffs, in my opinion, with this schedule we got here. And we finished with only 7 wins in each of the last 2 years. Very disappointing. So when you look at week 1 and the keys to our first game to victory against the Giants, they're going to be improved at coaching with John Harbaugh. I can't say his name. Harbaugh. Yeah, Harbaugh is going to be his first season with the Giants as their head coach. Still, again, formerly of the Ravens. And again, in my opinion, the Giants are probably still the fourth of the 4 teams in the NFC East. But they are improved, in my opinion. Defeating them, though, in week 1 in New York would depend how good the Cowboys can keep the pocket clean for Dak Prescott. So the Giants, again, on paper, look good on the defensive front. They look like they could be scary a little bit there. And recently they added their 5th overall pick, Arvell Reese, who, by the way, was caught like sleeping or taking it easy somewhere where Caleb Downs would never be that way. But anyways, he is going to be added to a group of edge rushers that includes Brian Burns, Abdul Carter, and Kayvon Thibodeau. So they got themselves a good front pass rushing crew there. Our offensive line must hold up for Dak and the offense to be successful in week 1. I'm just going to say that. But just saying, the Cowboys have won the last 9 of our 10 games against the Giants, and Dak is 14-3 against the Giants, throwing 31 touchdowns and only 9 interceptions. Obviously, if Dak is there, Dak should give them a big old square 0 on their head and get a victory, a big W. Now, again, the game that has gotten tougher, I would say, out of all these, believe it or not, are both of the Giant games. So, the Cowboys, again, have owned the Giants for a while, but hiring Harbaugh now and having Jackson Dart as they're entering his second year, adding Avril Reese to a defense that already has some firepower. Again, they should be an improved group. Week 1, probably, I don't know if they're going to be ready as far as like ready with the system. Week 17, they might be ready with the system, ready to go, or out of the playoffs and not very good anymore. So I don't know if we're going to get the best of the Giants, although I think they will be slightly improved this year. Cowboys should win both games, in my opinion. But the Giants should be a better team this year. Also, the toughest stretch right now of the weeks for us. If you look at the schedule, I could sit here and look at saying, maybe the Niners, and let's get the Tennessee Titans, but like the Niners and the Eagles and the Seahawks, but with those kind of buys in between, the Rams. I think that week, basically 1 through 7 there, well, up to that Cardinal game, before the Cardinal game, those first group of games, the 2 NFC East games. Then we get the Ravens in Rio, Texans, another playoff team in the Bucks, another, the former Micah Parsons over there, former Cowboy Micah Parsons over there with Green Bay, and of course in Philly on Monday night. That's where I think our toughest games are. But we've owned the Giants, right? And so again, it's going to be a little tougher, but I think we'll be okay. Opening when you look at our first 5 games of the year, even though there's supposed to be 3 of those 5 are supposed to be at home, the one game's in Rio, so we actually have 3 road games out of our first 5. And again, when you see when we face our toughest opponents, that's like the toughest stretch as far as games on the road. Whatever. Our toughest opponents, I think, is that week 10 to 15, where you have the Niners, the Eagles, the Seahawks, and Rams. All right. I
So it's a
know.
combination of tough opponents and a bit of a
Well,
tough
in my
schedule
opinion,
stretch.
right. The tough
Like
schedule
it happens to
stretch.
work out that way.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying the tough schedule stretch, not for the teams, but for the schedule, is the fact that three of our first 5 games are on basically on the road. And not even that, I would say 3 out of our first 7 games, actually. Let me rephrase that. 3 out of our first 7 games are basically on the road. We're supposed to be, I'm sorry, did I say 3? 3 are, but we're actually only getting 2 games at home. So out of those week
Not to
1
mention
through
one's the
7,
international one.
right, we're supposed to get 3, but we're getting actually 2 games at home out of 7. That's a tough streak to be on the road all those games. But that means we better finish up strong. And we get some wins in these road games. That's major. These early wins are major. So
I'm actually kind of excited and not as concerned
Mm.
because 2 of those games are, division rivals.
yeah,
So
it starts off
just,
that way.
you know,
But Ravens are
if
tough.
anything,
Texans
it's
are
even
tough.
better because that means that those aren't cold weather games.
I agree. But that one's at home for the Cowboys, Washington. But
True.
the Bucks game though, to me, is a winnable game, even if they made the playoffs. They're not really that good. The
They're
Packers.
one of those teams that's on the decline.
Actually,
You
they
know what
they
I
didn't
mean?
make the playoffs, did they? I think Carolina beat them out. So yeah, they didn't make the playoffs. I'm not really buying into them too much. And Green Bay, I mean, I think they're beatable, even though they might be good. And that's one of the, I think we can win. But again, they're tough.
They're a similar team in the sense of like Arizona. It's more about getting that monkey off our back. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah. But when you look at the tough teams here, to me, the ones that are the real, like I'd say, okay, I'm more concerned than the others would be the Ravens in Rio,
Mm-hmm.
would be the Texans in Houston at Houston there, which again coming off the road game in Rio is a little bit of pain, a little bit bigger pain in the ass there of a traveling situation there. Much love to Calvin Richard. We'll get to your super chat in a minute, brother. We're down to 15 to go. We need 15 more, 5 on it or more, and we're in there. Or a $75 drop. Everyone's in. But I did want to finish saying that when you look at these games here, I mean, to me, the Ravens, the Houston Texans, and I'm going to say Green Bay and the Eagles. Those are the 4 games that I would say out of those 7 that I'm most looking at. So if we can win the other 3 and win 1 or 2 of these tough games, we're in good position there because we should beat the Eagles. I know we can definitely beat the Colts, even though I know they lost their guy last year. And then we get a bunch of home games there in a row, but they're 2 or 3 tough ones. One's a quick turnaround. And then we get this, a little mini bye with the Seattle game, and then another little mini bye, another regular bye, I should say, before we get to the Rams, and then we get the Jacksonville Jaguars, a tough team in Dallas, and then finishing the home games with the Giants, and then finishing on the road against Washington. So yeah, there's a lot of tough stretches and a lot of tough games, but to me, toughest stretch is 1 through 7 when it comes to the. How often the Cowboys are on the road, 2 games at home, 5 games on the road. And then, of course, like I said, at San Francisco all the way to the Rams and Jacksonville, that's the toughest stretch as far as teams. But we at least, other than the quick turnaround against the Eagles, every other game we got a chance to prepare for these teams. So if we're a good team, we should be able to hang in with these teams as well. And we are at home. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4 out of these 6 games with a lot of buys in between there in a way, a lot of breaks, a lot of chance for preparation. Other than the Eagles, which we should know them already. They're the fucking Eagles. So, Calvin Richard, much love to you. What did the man have to say?
He said, the rest of the league doesn't have game film on our defense.
Good point.
So, maybe we can bring it together early, get it off to the quick start, and then until it...
That's a great point. I will say it also, Christian Parker's defense is on film. For the most part, not all of it, but some of it, the techniques, the strategies, the things he employs and deploys are on film with the Eagles. But you're right. We're going to use our guys different than the Eagles did. And he even said it himself, Christian Parker, during these last 2 weeks, he said, it's not the Eagles defense. It's the Cowboys defense.
Mhm.
And he's using the Cowboy players to mix and match and mesh into his scheme of what he wants to do and what his goal is in the end. He can reach that goal with players that are close enough to what he's looking for. And I think that is the thing. That will be why I think we have a quicker start. Although we have a lot of younger guys and new guys getting together, that could be where we kind of fall back a step. So, it might be a cold and hot situation, but for the most part, I think that Christian Parker, if he's truly the good coach that we think he is, I think he'll have these guys ready quicker than sooner than later. Let's put it that way. And then if we could hold off and get 5 out of 7 wins those first couple of weeks. I don't know with the Cardinals. I don't know with the Colts. Now we're at 7-2 after basically half the season, a little over half the season. And we get 3 home games coming up. 2 out of 3 are tough. And the Seahawks will get a bye after that. The Rams tough. Jacksonville tough, and then we end the season. We got a shot to make a run at the top spot in the East if it goes that way for us, in my opinion. So shout outs to Calvin Richard. Any thoughts on his comment maybe there, or coming together quicker like that?
It's good and bad. Kind of pointed it out. I don't want to rehash everything you said, but it's good because, like you said, we do have that element of surprise. No one has film on us yet, but that means it's probably true of a few other defenses out there as well. So that means that no matter what, at least a few of these matchups will be more question marks than maybe we'd like.
And by the way, I wanted to say, when you look at weeks 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, which is Ravens to the Eagles, that stretch, in my opinion, and 12, 13, 14, and 15, which is basically what 13, 14. So it's basically San Francisco, Philly, Seattle, and the Rams. Those 4 games. That's going to decide our season, quite possibly. Those 2 little stretches there. So
you see now, Aaron said, my friends usually like our first 4 games to conquer, get on a roll, and stay hot on offense. Kind of leaning into what Calvin Richards said. Take advantage that people don't know our defense and basically hit hard, hit fast, be aggressive, and get on a roll for those early games when people won't be able to anticipate you as well.
And if we need help from the offense, we know we have a highly ranked offense. We know they can put up points. But, what I'm saying? They can maybe help the defense a little bit in the beginning of the season if there is some step back. You know what I'm saying? No. But once the season keeps rolling, then we have a little head start going, they got film on him. But now the defense is cohesive and better. And the offense doesn't have to be overused or overworked. And that's where you can really get rolling.
I guess the only thing I will say just overall, and I'll pass this back to you, keep in mind with our super late bye week that maybe the Cowboys, we might not have a choice in taking it easy, and we also might not have a choice to go for it with all we got because some dudes might get hurt and now we have to change our plans or, the opposite. Like I said, we have too much other things going on in different directions.
No question. And I agree 100% that we go hard. We need to go hard. This team needs to go hard no matter what, even if Jimmy Johnson went hard from the beginning, you know what I'm saying? But my point is, take a look at the date for a second.
Yeah.
That Thursday, November 26th date.
Mm-hmm.
And then outside of the bye week and outside of the Seattle game, what's the next time we play? We're playing November 26th. When's the next time we play? December 20th. Almost a month later, guys. Over 3 weeks we play. We do play Seattle, of course, but outside of Seattle, we have one game in over 3 weeks. I'm sorry, but that's where the Cowboys need to then take their big breaks in that area and try to beat Seattle and take the big breaks there. Now, we got ourselves Seabass. He's crept into the silver level.
Quite the big break because YouTube, I guess, decided Goldilocks. The other one was too small. The other one was too big. I guess silver membership is just right for you.
There is an upgrade feature. If you do want to get to the upgrade feature, there's that.
It's just cracking me up that
I know. They're like, I think YouTube
allowed to happen.
They might have just fixed themselves. You know what I mean? Honestly speaking. By the way, with that right there, Seabass, he's in the silver. He drops 2 more of them basically down. And we got Calvin Richard dropping another 5 on it. So, man, let me count this up so I got this right. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hits. We need 13 hits left to get that goal.
Stacking them up. Thank you so much to Seabass again. And thank you, Calvin Richard.
Shout outs.
His $5 holler, he said. And for goodness sake, the starters need to play during the preseason at least a little bit.
Agreed.
After all, it's a totally new defensive scheme.
Whoa, what happened? Oh, shit. A super sticker. Okay, that scared the shit out of me.
Way to go. Finally, we got to see that.
I never saw that. Yeah, I never saw that. Thank you, Mr. Skeptical Fan, hitting us with the pow pow. Is that a pair? I always think it's a
It
pair.
is.
It's
Dropping the mic with the $5
much
helmet.
love the skeptical fan.
The stickers work again. Remember last
Hey.
time we actually had the opposite problem where stickers didn't work at all.
I know this is crazy. I think YouTube got off their ass and fixed shit. By the way,
Yeah,
with
they
that,
fixed the stickers. They fucked up everything else.
you know what didn't get fucked up? Skeptical fan is now the stream boss. He took over the stream boss.
He was
104
dropping the
points.
mic.
Yeah, that's why he dropped the mic. He took
So-
it over.
The chat, guys. You know, do you guys agree with Calvin Richard? Do you guys want to see
Hmm.
our starters play even a little bit? Because I have to be honest.
We have to.
Looking at the stats, looking at everything, for better or for worse, not playing your starters during the preseason seems to hurt you more than it helps you if you're trying to actually win. Now, does that mean you go out there and just let them run balls to the wall? No. But even the handful of snaps makes a world of difference.
Mm.
So I'm fully with you, Calvin. I think we need to see a little bit more actual preseason stuff from our players.
Agree 100%.
But
You don't want to see injuries.
I feel like that later bye week, especially for us as Cowboy fans, we're so used to having it super early. I have to be honest, like that's the part that's throwing me off the most, right? In my head, I know how to manage the rest of the season after our bye week. I don't really know how to manage up until the bye week. I feel like this year is going to be a really big argument for why the league needs to add in maybe an extra bye week. Have to be a discussion.
Oh, they're getting. Trust me, they're getting ready to add more games.
The international games and the traveling and all this, like I'm looking at the schedule and just thinking, how nice would it be if we had just one extra bye week to kind of make it work in there?
They will be adding a game or two.
You guys know it. Drop them if you got it.
Drop them if you got them in the membership. Let's go. So as I finish kind of talking about this, I want to make sure I finish talking about the this is all to kind of talk about. It's mainly as we get to the players, but I know we're talking about the schedule. It was just released, less than a week ago. But the one game the Cowboys cannot afford to lose, to me, is that Week 12 Thanksgiving game.
Okay.
Pluck, as we pluck the fucking Eagles. So when we pluck the Eagles on that Week 12 game, we got to make sure we hurt them. And I mean that like we beat them bad, not actually physically hurt them. But if the Cowboys are going to overtake the Eagles in the division, they have to at least split with them in the regular season. We might lose that first one in my night on October 26th there. Night game, cold. It's going to be crazy. But that Thanksgiving game, we got to win at the very least. I'd love to sweep them, but let's at least split with them. And if we lose both, we're screwed there, right? So of course, I do think that the Cowboys still have a chance to beat Philly in Week 7. But if they don't, that's what I'm trying to say. That Thanksgiving game is even more important. It's a quick turnaround. We can't overlook the Tennessee Titans, even though they suck. So we got to make sure we beat them and then get a quick 4 days later for Thanksgiving against the Eagles. It's a tough game. Thanksgiving game. It's the most watched regular season game in the league. Last year's Cowboys Kansas City game. And this slot drew more than 57 million motherfucking viewers, making it the most watched NFL regular season game in league history. If the Cowboys are a legitimate contender, we'll know after this game. If the Cowboys blow this game and we've got to wait, 13 days to get the Seahawks and a bye week, and we're hanging on to 5 or 6 wins. Forget it. We're not made for the playoffs. Now, which is the must-watch game to me, must-see game? Seattle Seahawks Week 13, guys. To me, after the Eagle game I just talked about, that we go to the Seattle game Week 13 against the defending Super Bowl champions. Will be a great test in Seattle for the Cowboys. Another one. Well, that's scary. Calvin Richard dropping that 5 on it. He's like, keep it going.
Pump it up.
He's pumping it up. Thank you, brother. Hey, we're rolling here. We're getting through that. We're going through the important stuff, the important games. Appreciate you big time, Mr. Calvin Richard in the house.
So much. I really appreciate it.
And I think we're down to like 12 or 11 hits on the goal board. We're almost halfway down the board there. So big shout outs to all you guys, and thank you. We'll keep it up. We're keeping it up. So again, that Seattle game to me is a big one. It's a good test against the Super Bowl champions. It's a big test on the road in a loud stadium, and also add the storyline of DeMarcus Lawrence being there. I know you made a mention of him in the past about him winning. DeMarcus Ware wins in Denver, and DeMarcus Lawrence wins in Seattle. Now we had what's his name from was left and went to Seattle as well. What was his name? Let's mention
Marcus Lawrence,
he was with Washington. Deontay
Dante
Fowler.
Fowler. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
Fowler.
Deontay Fowler is now also over there in Seattle with DeMarcus Lawrence. So there's no question this will be one of the ones that he has circled on his calendar. Um, and the Seahawks have been an interesting measuring stick for the Cowboys. You go back, in the last 15 years, it's been a big thing. Dak Prescott's first career postseason win came against the Seahawks in the 2018 playoffs. Also, if you remember, that was the game where Romo got hurt. The preseason game was one of them in 2016 when he got hurt and his back was at Seattle. And of course, it was what was 2014 was probably our best Cowboy team. We lost to Green Bay in the playoffs on the catch. That was probably our best overall team, I'd say. And that year was also against the Seattle Seahawks, where we actually beat them in the middle of that year in Seattle, and really kind of like everyone kind of was like, "Oh shit, we're a contender." I know Sean Lee also got blown up by T.J. Lockett, but maybe we get a little revenge this week. I don't know. This year, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But either way, Seattle must-watch game, Week 13. As you can see there, Monday night on December 7th. Be there, be square. We'll be watching it. We'll be here live streaming every game. Every game. We do every game. Well, it'll be our ninth like year on YouTube, but our 10th season of doing these live stream reactions. We always do those every week. So the best defense the Cowboys are going to face, I know the Eagles have a good defense and the Texans have a good defense and the Ravens, but to me it's the Seattle Seahawks. I said it again. I'm staying with that December 7th game. That Seattle Seahawks game is going to probably, at this point, looks like the best defense, statistically speaking, from last year. It should be the Houston Texans, so don't overlook them. But Seattle's defense was not far away from Houston's last year, and what that defense will likely be playing the Cowboys, and they're playing again. We're playing in Lumen Field, which is very difficult. 12th man on a Monday night game in the cold. So again, that's why that one is when it comes to defense, is between the Seahawks and the Houston Texans. But the weather and the environment is much more raucous in Seattle than it is in Houston. So especially half the stadium probably roots for the Cowboys there in Houston. But either way, the point is Seattle only allowed 17 points per game last year in Lumen Field, and we have one of the best offenses. Big test for the Cowboys there in Monday Night Football. The Cowboys, on defense, we averaged 30 points allowed. We can't, we got to cut that to like 17 points. Okay, 17 is great, obviously, but Seattle. 20 points allowed. Can we get there, guys? Can we get at least up to there, Cowboy defense? What about the best offense we're going to face? A lot of good offenses in a mix, but to me, by far the best one, the most effective one, the dangerous one, is the one after Seattle. We went Philly, Seattle, bye week, and then it is the Los Angeles Rams. Do not sleep on the Rams. The Rams had the best we had a great offense, but the Rams had the best offense last year, averaging 395 yards and 30.5 points per game. The Cowboys, again, like I said, were not far off. They were at 395 per game. We were at 392 per game. And we averaged, and yardage-wise, they averaged 30.5 points per game, the Rams, and we averaged 27.7 points per game. So not far off, but it's going to be one of those kind of high-scoring, back and forth games, I think, where it's going to be more offense than defense in that game against the Rams. Even on the road, that's kind of a home game for the Cowboys, I'm going to be honest. So Cowboys won't have many, the fans will be 60-40 Cowboys easy there with the Rams. So, again, one of the higher scoring games of the season, I believe that will be it for the Cowboys. Be one of the tougher ones for the Cowboy defense. Even with the Cowboys being better defensively, are we able to kind of stop the defending MVP, Matthew Stafford? I know it's weird to say it, but they got a lot of good players in that team. I think we can do it, especially there in LA. I think our defense is better. Our offense will still be solid, a top offense, hopefully. So that's to me my kind of the way I look at it. When I look at this, what was your record prediction? 11-6.
6, yeah.
I'm gonna be the asshole.
And that's sound,
I know. I'm gonna be the asshole. I don't really do record predictions, but I'm gonna go with 10-7. I'm trying to be realistic, guys. I'm sorry, but in the early stretch, realistically, is very difficult. The Cowboys, with those first 6 games, Cowboys, I think, and win 3 or 4 of them. Okay, at the very least, we can pull those out. But in the division, Cowboys probably go 4-2 or 5-1, in my opinion. There. Um, when it comes to the road games for the Cowboys, 4-4, very possible. Houston game is tough. Indianapolis game can be tough. People say the Rams game is tough. Seattle, of course, is tough. But those the ones on the road, I think the ones that we will definitely win. Philly game is very difficult. So I think we'll beat Houston. I mean, I think we'll beat the Giants to start off the season. I think Houston is a team that we will be able to pull out a victory. I hope. The Colts, we should beat them, even with their improvement last year. And I think the Rams will beat them too, with their high-powered offense. And then when you look at kind of the Commanders' last game of the year, I think that
Yeah.
we can handle them. So I kind of look at like a 5-3 record on the road for the most part, 4-4, 5-3, and then the home games for the Cowboys. Um, Commanders, Buccaneers, Cardinals, Titans. Those are games we got to win. We got to win in the division. Commanders got to win at home. We got to win the Eagles. Got to split them one at home. We got to beat the Giants at home. So again, when you look at that, that's easy. 6 home wins for the Cowboys. And you look at the other 3 home games. One of them is in Rio against Baltimore, which is tough. Another one is against San Francisco, which is going to be tough. Another one is against Jacksonville, which is going to be tough. So again, there's some tough games at home as well. But the Cowboys can overtake the Eagles if everything goes well on defense. If the Cowboys have that defense that goes from 30th ranked to 18th, we will win the East and we will make the playoffs. I believe that. With the offense going on, minus any crazy injuries. I think our offense is going to be right there at the top 5. Our defense can be top 20. I'll take it. And I think that will get us in the playoffs. I think anything higher than middle of the pack gets us the division. So I think that we will challenge the Eagles in a very real way there. Well, again, we have to be very fortunate in the health department. Got to be healthy. Can't get hurt. Knock on wood. On paper, there's a better Cowboys team than we had a year ago. But just have we done enough to move past Philly? That will be answered throughout the season. It's always a back and forth. It's always going to be ups and downs. But the Commanders and Giants are definitely a step behind us and the Eagles. Let's put it that way. So it's really going to be the Cowboys and Eagles fighting it out. The Commanders are going to be that 3rd team, in my opinion, and the Giants are that 4th team. Now I'm going to shut up. There's the schedule stuff. There's my prediction. You got it. 10-7. I would not be surprised if we go 11-6, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we have a couple of bumps and bruises that we're less than 9 wins. So again, I don't want to see that happen, but that's a possibility. Now, what did the man Calvin Richard have to say, baby? With that, he dropped that 5 on it.
I think the Cowboys had so much offense out of necessity, just playing catch up.
So just like
basically like we're playing catch up out of necessity.
But we had to be
because we had to pump so
up.
Much. Yeah,
and that's the thing that's crazy. Everyone knew we were throwing, and we still were able to get those yards. That's something we always done. But we never can get both things on the same page. We have a great defense, and our offense is throwing chunks.
Say chicken or the egg, but it just kind of sucks. Like we said, like we can never have a good offense and defense at the same time. By the time that we figured out our offense, we basically went like, oh shit, we better quadruple invest in all of our offensive stuff.
I hear you. Have
a great night, Skeptical fan.
Much love to him. And by the way, if we do hit the goal, he gets 2 entries right there, bang, off the bat. I don't think anything through PayPal or through any other ways, Venmo or Cash App has gone through. So we're still there, but I think we just hit our 10. I know it says there. What does it say there on the thing, maybe 5? I think we've hit 10, by the way, if I'm counting this properly. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4. I guess we're 1. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I got 4 here. So yeah, we're actually 11 away from hitting the goal. Not bad. We're almost at halfway. So that would mean that Skeptical would get 2 entries if we got to that point. So anyways, here's my thing. When it comes to this situation here, and our schedule, kind of finishing the discussion on it, I kind of look at what our starting team may look like. When I look at this projected PFF, projected our starters, what do you think about this? Of course, on offense, pretty easy. Dak Prescott, a quarterback, running back is There's Javonte Williams. We got CeeDee Lamb and Pickens at receiver with Valdez Scantling as our other receiver. Interesting, right? Flournoy Turpin did not make the list here. So, that's that's the receiver side of things. Then you got the tight end Ferguson, of course. Offensive line Beebe with Booker and Tyler Smith on each side of him, and then Tyler Guyton, our worst ranked guy PFF style, and Terrence Steele on the other side. On defense, they have starting interior Quinton Williams, which obviously is our best player on defense. Then we have Kenny Clark, now number 97, right there next to him on defense. In the inside, Rashawn Gary playing on one of the edge spots, and Ezuraku playing on the other spot. Those are our four projected guys through PFF. Drop to the linebackers, which we know Leo Fowle will be on the line of scrimmage. He's projected as one of our linebackers, along with D. Winters, and of course the Marvin Overshown. So look at it really being a 5-man kind of down look there. When you got Ezuraku, Kenny Clark, Quinton Williams, and Rashawn Gary as our front four. One of those guys can drop back into coverage, all right? Ezuraku can drop back into coverage, but Lil Fowl will also be a 5th guy on the line of scrimmage. So you have 5 guys on the line of scrimmage with Winters and Overshown as our linebackers for the most part. And then when you look at the rest of our team, when you look at, again, I'm going to go safety because Caleb Downs will be in the mix here. Caleb Downs will be playing linebacker and corner and slot and safety and all over the place. He's going to be our strong safety, but he's really our jack of all trades, and he's great at all 5 trades he does. And you got the other guy, number 24, Malik Hooker, of course, playing the other free safety spot, which he's done a decent job at the free safety position. At cornerback, our starters listed at corner, Deron Bland, which we knew, right?
Yeah. No surprises there.
And Kobe Durant is the other starter. Because remember, Siobhan Ravel is supposed to be the other starter in that spot. But there's a good chance that if we do run a different kind of defensive scheme, a 3-4 type thing, you might see that's where Caleb Downs becomes our 4th linebacker possibly. And you bring in another guy, whether it's on the back end or as a cornerback to help cover that. Caleb Downs can also play cornerback as a slot if needed. Like I said, Siobhan Ravel has also been a guy talked about as playing an outside cornerback. That's why we have these practices, OTAs, and preseason / training camp. So we'll figure this out as we go. But this is what PFF has given us as the highest rated players where they should go and start. Well, I agree with most of this stuff. It's all really bullshit. We got to wait and see. When you look at the draft itself, let's flip over to the draft guys. I know I'm going to talk all about the schedule. Let's talk about the draft class and what we got here. And I want to just say a couple things here, and mainly going on what Caleb Downs is going to mean for us here. Listen to this, baby. The first round of the 2026 NFL draft that we were covering here for the 3 nights delivered 13.2 million viewers across ESPN platforms. Of course, it includes streaming and all that stuff, which generated the 3rd most watched day 1 of the draft ever. So the 3rd most day 1 watched draft day ever. Anyway.
It's still a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. And Caleb Downs, when he went for one of his pre-draft visits, Caleb Downs was there. And again, I uploaded the video. He beat Brian Schottenheimer in a putting competition. We didn't see that video. But then Schottenheimer said they'd have a rematch if he was drafted by the Cowboys. And, of course, as he did, they had a rematch and Schottenheimer beat him, which that's the video I put up there. I just wanted to say this, though, real quick. When you look at the linebacker safety situation, what do you think is the best combination of guys, more or less? Because think about this: we got Deron Bland as one of the cornerbacks, and Kobe Durant's listed as one of them. But we also have Siobhan Ravel as a cornerback. We also have Kalen Carson as a cornerback, and these are the outside corners. So we have slot corners like Caleb Downs, who's looked upon as one, Reddy Stewart, Zion Childress. We know that Bland can drop into the slot if needed as well. We also have Devin Moore and Darion Kendrick, which to me, Moore is a rookie. Kendrick is kind of the last guy on the cornerback list. But, you got Caleb Downs in this mix. You understand what I'm saying? We're using these guys in there. So our starters, when you look at the strong safety, we can move. You say, well, who's playing safety then if Caleb Downs is playing corner, nickel corner? Jalen Thompson. He's a good player. We got him from the Cardinals, and he's like a cheap I said this when we got him. He's a cheap version of Caleb Downs, which gives you the ability to use Caleb Downs in the box as a slot corner. And he does a good job in helping with the run, helping with coverage, helping with hitting. He does a great job. So again, that's the way you get all your guys in there. So now you have a little more power, whether it is DaRon Bland and Siobhan Ravel Jr. or DaRon Bland and Kobe Durant. It don't matter because in the nickel spot, it'll be Caleb Downs locking shit down. And then Jalen Thompson and Malik could play strong safety like the Caleb Downs spot, and Malik Hooker plays free safety. Those could be our 5 starters with our backups. And I got to stress, this is part of the moves the Cowboys did. Behind Malik Hooker, you have a guy like P.J. Locke, who is number 1, his jersey number. But he's a guy that helped out a lot in that good Denver defense last year. You have Marquise Bell playing strong safety behind Jalen Thompson. Remember, if you have Caleb Downs there, you have Caleb Downs, Jalen Thompson, and Marquise Bell, as well as Julius Wood, who'll be a practice squatter. So, a lot of strong safeties. So Caleb Downs playing all over the place is fantastic. And that gives guys like Jalen Thompson an opportunity to show what he can do. And I believe he can do well. We got Marquise Bell behind him. Marquise Bell's basically our third stringer, and he's playing second stringer role here. PJ Locke is basically, a high second stringer. He's playing he's almost playing like a third stringer because of Caleb Downs. So that movement of Caleb Downs, that corner or safety, is so fantastic. And like I said, when you look at this matchup, so the way our backups would look would be Kalen Carson on the outside, ready with Kobe Durant or Siobhan Ravel, whoever's not starting, will be the other outside corner with Reddy Stewart, who played well in the nickel spot there. Actually, he played better in nickel than anywhere else as far as corner. And our backups would be a strong safety, would be Marquise Bell and PJ Locke. Our backups are pretty damn decent. So again, when you go to the third stringers, most of those guys, you got rookies, you got guys that practice squad. But my point is, we're looking at 3 deep here at cornerback.
Yeah.
Christian Parker's defense runs majorly through these guys. Just keep that in mind. So I just want to throw that out there when it came to the drafted guys, but also who we have been compiling. And it was interesting in the first round. Now we've got Caleb Downs. You know what the Cowboys trying to do? This has been known because of some footage came out. But Cowboys try to trade up with the Cleveland Browns early in the first round. Cowboys offered the 12th pick, which is the one we traded eventually up to get the 11th pick to get Caleb Downs. We offered the 20th pick. We offered the 12th pick and the 20th pick, our first 2 round picks, in exchange for pick number 9 and pick number 24. So we're gonna jump up 3 spots from 12 to 9 to get Caleb Downs, by the way, and then drop 4 back at 20th to probably get Malachi Lawrence. That was probably the Cowboys' move in their mind, and it did not happen. It's all been recorded, so it's all true. After Cleveland said no, the Cowboys offered to throw in a 5th round pick as well, and the Browns still said no. So the Cowboys then first offered Miami a 5th round pick to move up from 11 to 12. The Dolphins did, right? So again, Miami said no, and that they would make the pick. Now we do know the Cowboys ended up getting that pick from Miami, but it started off the Cowboys did not got a big no from Miami Dolphins at trading up 1 spot. So the Cowboys wanted to move up. The Cowboys were going to give up a 5th rounder and that 12th pick to move up 1 spot. And they said no, that they would make the pick. The Cowboys were considering a linebacker at 20, but then they kind of got locked into Malachi Lawrence before trading back. So the Cowboys considered moving back, but then Jerry Jones kind of convinced the room. If you watch the video, he convinced the room to turn the pick in at number 23. Remember, we moved back 3 spots, got 2 4th rounders from the Eagles, thank you, and still got Malachi Lawrence. So actually, Jerry Jones helped us. That's why Jerry Jones is on the thumbnail. He helped us out on this one. Jerry Jones convinced the room to say, you know what, I think Malachi Lawrence will be there at 23. Let's trade back, get those 2 4th rounders from the Eagles. Fuck Philly. Let them get their receiver, and we'll get Malachi Lawrence. We're going to get him anyways at 20. Let's get him at 23 and add 2 4th rounders. And you know what? The room finally switched and turned. And Brian Schottenheimer said that Lawrence can be a, quote, difference maker. We'll talk about this guy right here. Malachi Lawrence from UCF. Let's go Knights. Malachi Lawrence, guys, A difference maker type. You see some videos I've posted in the video short section. This guy is very quick burst. He's not like think of Mozzie Smith, and then think of the opposite of that when it comes to getting off the line of scrimmage on defense. Mozzie's track. He takes a second to get off the line of scrimmage, and you get locked up and you lose all kinds of getting blocked wars. But not Malachi Lawrence. He's off that ball faster than anybody. Every single play is a motor that's nonstop. So yeah, with a little bit of fine tuning by the end of the year, Malachi Lawrence could be a guy who's a major player on the rotational side of the pass rush that we will have. So again, you know that he's listed at linebacker, technically, right? Initially at linebacker, Malachi Lawrence. But just like Caleb Downs is listed at safety, he can play linebacker, he can play corner, nickel, he can play all over, right? Free safety, strong safety. Malachi Lawrence is listed as a linebacker by the college standards, but the Cowboys are referencing him as an edge rusher.
Okay.
So he's getting thrown in that mix. They want somebody who's quick off that ball. He can stand up or go down in a 3 or 4 point stance. So we've talked about all the details about Malachi Lawrence, but I like what the Cowboys are doing when it comes to Christian Parker and this defense. So let me just say this. Listen to this, baby. Some rookie numbers have been announced.
Mm-hmm.
So Caleb Downs got number 18, which, by the way, and I'll say this right now, got switched to 13.
Okay.
Recently. That's why you see him on the thumbnail. He's at 13. He got that 13 switched right in time for the NFLPA rookie photo shoot. That's why he's in his full uniform there. So, again, but we're trying to get him to 220, I don't know. Either way, Caleb Downs, he's started at 18, now he's at 13. Malachi Lawrence, he's got number 57. That worked out.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Deshaun Barham, all right, who is more of a linebacker type. He is wearing number 55 for the Cowboys, all right? You saw the video today. It was him and the one on yesterday. It got like 70,000 views.
Yeah.
It was overshown and Deshaun Barham hitting the dummies, the hitting dummies. Yeah. So again, the sled. So my point is, he's looked upon as with overshown and manning that interior of the defense. It sounds like so he's getting number 55. That whole number, it shows you 55. Who got that number? Yeah, LVE last time, right?
Yeah.
It's like that linebacker number, right? So that's what I'm looking at for Barham there. Then offensive lineman, Drew Shelton. Drew Shelton got number 67. 6'7". That's our new 6'7" this year. No Brock Hoffman. So he's number 67. Drew Shelton took 6'7". Devin Moore, cornerback. You see him there at 28, not 28. That's Savon Ravel now. But he is going to be number 29. Devin Moore, old Kenny Gant Shark style right there. You guys, some of you guys, old schoolers, know what I'm talking about. And then with the next pick, we got LT Overton. You see him there. He's got Emmett's number, but he's not wearing Emmett's number. He is wearing a double number though. 9 times. That's from what name the movie? 9 times. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Anyways. That's what LT Overton's going to be getting. Number 99 for him. The big, left tackle. Let's just put it not left tackle, but defensive tackle on our defensive line. We'll see how he plays in. And then the last pick, which is on offense in the 7th round, was Anthony Smith. He will be number 83. T-Will, I guess the last famous 83 we have in this team. But there's been a lot of discussion about Caleb Downs wearing that number 18 or wearing that number 13. He wore number 2 in college. We know this, right? So we know nothing is set in stone as well. You see him there, repping that number 2 there in college. But again, that stuff changes at all times. So yeah, it's great. In Ohio State, he was able to get that number. He's got to fight Kobe Durant for this number 2 here. So we'll see what happens. A lot of fans want to see him wear it professionally. Kobe Durant is listed at number 2. Downs mentioned casually, for what it's worth, that he may have to negotiate for the number at some point. So it sounds like it's going to change, not just from 18 to 13. We know that happened, but it sounds like it's going to change from 13 to something else.
Yeah.
So we'll keep that watching. I know he wants 2, and I think he has that star power to get 2. It's worth it for him. While it's great, again, to get rookie jersey numbers, there are also a number of new players on the Cowboys this offseason and some veterans who were on the team who did change numbers already this season. So I went through those names already. But the important thing is that if he, when it's all said and done, cut day comes, a lot of these numbers always change. So I would say this: avoid buying any rookie jerseys or anything like this until cut day is done. And sometimes even a whole season goes by and then they change the jersey anyway. So I'm just saying, right now for the rookies, we're hoping he gets you can get one request. You can request a number 2 Downs jersey for the Cowboys if you want. That's not his actual jersey, but you could get that if you want. If you win, it's up to you. But when you look at our guys, the rookie class, you know what the Cowboys did right before rookie minicamp? We signed everyone but one. We signed Caleb Downs. All right. We signed Jayshon Barham. All right. We signed Drew Shelton, offensive lineman. We signed Devin Moore, cornerback. We signed LT Overton, defensive tackle. We even signed our 7th round pick. I'll make it sound like it's a big deal. We signed our 7th round pick. Where is he? Anthony Smith. There he is. Everyone signed but one. The only guy that not signed out of this entire group is our 2nd round pick, Malachi Lawrence from UCF. And usually 2nd and 3rd rounders, a little more difficult to kind of get signed. It usually takes a little longer.
Yeah.
But he was at the rookie camp. He was participating, and he looked good out there as well for the rookie side of things. Cowboys signed 6 of the 7 draft picks before rookie minicamp. Malachi Lawrence is unsigned, but expectation is his contract will get done once other deals in his pick range. That's the main thing, guys. He was picked 23rd, so all the guys around him in that range were not really signed yet. They got to wait where these numbers, kind of line up, and then that's what he'll settle for the number that fits that 23rd pick. So it's nothing to worry about, is what I'm trying to say. Now the Cowboys also, outside of the Cowboy players that you see here drafted, we also got a bunch of undrafted players, which I'm going to go over here to end the stream. And there's also some undrafted free agents the Cowboys kind of undrafted free agents I'm going to go through here, but there's other players the Cowboys signed before rookie minicamp, and it's kind of to fill up the 85-man roster to 90. The Cowboys added defensive edge rusher Adebayo Adolaye, tackle Marcellus Johnson, receiver Trayshawn Holden, which we loved him last year in training camp, linebacker Justin Barron, which again played in training camp and practice squad. Those 4 guys are also, you see them on the field, you're going to see the star on their helmet in the rookie camp. So anybody with the star is one of those 4 guys. Anybody who's in the league gets the star automatically. That's just the way it goes. When you look at the undrafted and the rookies, they have no stars on their helmet, 0.0 stars on their helmet. But we do have to, we do have a situation where guys that are rookies, and it's a thing we've always done in Dallas. You have to earn the star. Now, always. Now the Cowboys, I will say this: they also added 2 other guys. All right, 2 other guys. Literally after rookie minicamp. But I'm going to add them in right now because we're going to talk about the rookies in a minute, the undrafted guys. The Cowboys signed wide receiver Tyler Johnson. He's basically, the Cowboys want more receivers at depth for rookie camp, for OTAs. So Tyler Johnson was signed to add some competition at the bottom of the receiver depth chart. He's a veteran wide receiver. And the Cowboys are trying to elevate the bottom of the room. They've done this in the past when they get like a veteran guy, but not a guy who's going to be a top 4 or 5 guy. A guy's going to maybe get the young guys playing, and maybe one of them pop out from that group. One of the young guys, not Tyler Johnson. And then we also picked up a linebacker, but not the guys like we want, not a Bobby Wagner. We got Curtis Robinson. He's basically a rotational linebacker. He's a 3rd stringer practice squad guy. He has special teams experience, which he did in San Francisco, but nothing to write home about, guys. So again, when you look at our free agents, our undrafted free agents, that you see our rookies, great, and I'll leave them up there. But let's talk about the other guys here, the guys that are undrafted free agents, the ones that made this team after the draft. 2026 undrafted is right here. So here's your list, guys. Now let's go through this list real quick, and I'll explain these guys. It'll be a little bit out of order, but I do want to say that All these guys, every single one of them, have been officially signed as well. Just in case you were wondering. So all of our unsigned guys, everybody's been signed except for Malachi Lawrence, and that's only waiting to see what happens with the with the guys drafted in that 22nd, 24th spots. Oh yeah, also the Cowboys, former Texas offensive lineman Cole Hudson attended Cowboys rookie camp as well, rookie mini camp this week with the Cowboys, and then next week which would be this week, I guess. He went to the Browns to do their rookie mini camp. He made 23 career starts at Texas, including starts at both guard and center last year. The Cowboys also invited Presbyterian College running back Zach Switzer to rookie mini camp. You guys know who Zach Switzer is, guys? He's the grandson of former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, Barry Switzer. Got a Super Bowl of Jimmy Johnson's back. But yeah, and also, originally it was reported that Jalen Gillebro would be one of the Cowboys' undrafted free agents. But, like I said, I think I said this last time, the Carolina Panthers stole him from us. That's kind of the way that goes. Everyone's vying for the dollars there. So when you look at this, everything you need to know about our undrafted free agents. May 1st, was it May 1st through 4th? We had our rookie mini camps. All right. I think we also could have picked May 8th through 11th. I think we picked 1 through 4. And then you saw the rookies through May 13th through May 17th. Then went to the NFLPA rookie premiere, which was in Los Angeles. That's where you saw that Caleb Downs in his 13 on the thumbnail. That's where that was from. The draft is over. Stephen Jones like to say, roster building is a 24/7, 365 a day business. But again, the moment the Broncos made the last pick of the draft, 257th pick, ending the draft, all 32 teams began signing undrafted players to gain various deals and depth on their team in an effort to get the best remaining players that were not drafted officially in the NFL or had their name called. So the Cowboys put together, they wanted to get 10 to 12 guys. We got 12 guys officially. You see their names there. Cowboys put together a decent pool of undrafted free agents. And I'm going to go through them all with you here real quick. Just a little paragraph on each one. But you let me know what you guys think on this. And remember, we're at what? We're like $55 away from hitting the goal. Damn, we're so close to hitting it. I thought you guys were going to make it tonight, but I guess it's going to be close. But it'll have to be a big drop to get everybody in because I don't think we're going to make it in time. This is the last segment of the show, guys. I'm just letting you know. And we've gone for, almost 2 hours here. So as I keep it rolling here, Cowboys putting together some undrafted guys. I do like this core of guys that we got. Jordan Hudson, from a wide receiver from SMU, a guy that we knew the Cowboys were looking at, and Dallas Day stuff and the interviews and stuff. A lot of DJs, by the way. Get ready. DJ Rogers, tight end from TCU. There's Kevin Gilliam, defensive tackle from Virginia Tech. Camden Brown, receiver from Georgia Southern. Dominique Richardson, running back from Tulsa. Michael Trigg, which to me is the best player of the group here, tight end from Baylor. Sidney Fugar, offensive lineman from Baylor. Tommy Dunn Jr., defensive tackle from Kansas. Saijah Heat, offensive tackle from Kentucky. 6'9" guy. He's 6'9". And he's also Native American, which is interesting. Very, very prideful to have on this team here. And then Langston Patterson, linebacker from Vanderbilt. Another DJ Withers, defensive tackle from Kansas. Another DJ Wingfield, offensive lineman from USC. So you can see we're packed with DJs on just the undrafted. 3 out of our 12 are DJs. And see, we're wondering, guys, when it comes to the money, DJ Rogers getting $200,000 guaranteed. So that means DJ Rogers is one of the guys you're probably going to say at tight end. He's somebody we're looking at keeping, possibly, right? But then you look at the guy who also got $200,000, is also a tight end. The Cowboys are really looking at tight end here, either a 3 or 4 tight end. Because Michael Trigg got $200,000 guaranteed money. And again, usually for the Cowboys, the highest paid undrafted players usually have a true legit chance of making the 53-man rosters. Just remember this, and this is what's weird, that the Cowboys basically gave both guys, both tight ends of the undrafted, $200,000. guaranteed, which means they both should make the team, technically. I'm pretty sure one will make the practice squad. And I think Trigg has a good chance to challenge Spanford, Reverend Spanford, for that third spot, possibly. We'll see what happens. But Michael Trigg is one of the most intriguing guys here. He had a 5th or 6th round grade from multiple experts. So that's something to keep an eye on when it comes to the undrafteds. And let's start off with Michael Trigg, guys. Michael Trigg, one of the most tantalizing undrafted free agents that did not get picked in this, which is very surprising. Again, a lot of people are saying this guy was a shock that he was not drafted. It's a shock that he has not been drafted. Listen to this. He is 6'4", tight end, 6'4", 240 pounds, and he has 34-inch arms. So that makes him a ridiculously long, kind of a long-armed, long movement tight end. He's made a lot of great catches, one-handed catches. He's a big guy. He's not Rico Gathers. He's not just a basketball player who play football part-time. He's a full-time football player. Big guy, to me, is more like the guy that Pittsburgh got. What's his name? I really liked him at tight end. He's like their 6th offensive line, but he plays tight end. He's not an offensive lineman type, but he is 6'4", 240, 34-inch arms, and he can catch, and he can block as well. He caught 54 passes for 900 and I'm sorry, he caught 50 passes for 694 yards and 6 touchdowns in college, despite playing in an offense that does not prioritize a tight end. So he didn't have the really big numbers because in the scheme he was in, it was not really crafted for him. He still had good numbers. He still had 50 catches. He still had almost 700 yards and 6 touchdowns in one season. So Trigg still needs to grow a little bit. Even though he can block, he needs to grow in NFL blocking style. And again, he needs to hone in on some of his techniques. This is the things that every rookie needs, especially undrafted. But it's a passing league, and that's one thing that he can do very well is catch that ball. He's a weapon when used down the field. So Trigg is going to be he's not looked at as, he's going to be the on the other side of Ferguson. Or maybe, what I'm saying? He's the other receiving tight end on this team. He's not the blocking tight end. He's not Schoonmaker. He's not Brevin Spanford. He's the second Ferguson, let's say. So to me, Trigg can really vie for that spot, in my opinion. And again, a weapon nonetheless, can catch great, doesn't block very well, but there were also concerns about his maturity in college.
Okay.
Again, that's definitely partially why he was undrafted. The teams did not trust him. And I guess you could say his attitude, his off the field issues he might have had, maturity. So again, that's definitely what dropped him a bit there. But the Cowboy coaching staff, mainly Lunda Wells, tight end coach for the Cowboys, have a plan to coach him up and unlock his potentials. Anybody on this coaching staff has lived through it all. It's been Lunda Wells. And he's one of our best coaches, looking to be a coach eventually from, moving up in these ranks, but he's still a tight ends coach, and he's still with the Cowboys. And the thing about Lunda Wells is that he will get the best out of Michael Trigg, and Lunda Wells is mainly does his best work at teaching tight ends to block. That's what Michael Trigg needs. So with that, along with an offensive scheme that pulls him down the field, Michael Trigg can be a guy who makes the 53. To me, he's the best chance to make the 53 on this team. Now, the other guy that gets $200,000 is tight end DJ Rogers. Also a tight end from TCU, and he's a throwback type of college athlete. Spent all 5 years of eligibility at TCU. Again, a Dallas guy. Grew up, not grew up, but he rose up on the depth chart at TCU, learning and growing each year, getting better before becoming a starter this last year in college. And Rogers finished with 319 yards and 2 touchdowns in their spread offense, which does not feature or prioritize the tight end. Another non-prioritizing the tight end situation. But to me, he's more of a blocker type than he is a receiver type, unlike Trigg, which is more receiver type than a blocker. Rulger rated him as the 21st best tight end in the draft and had him as a 6th or 7th round prospect. The Cowboys could not miss on that. They said, no, you know what? We're going to see which is the best of these two guys, and one of these two guys are definitely making this team when it comes to the undrafted. That's what I feel the Cowboys are saying when you're looking at tight end there when it comes to Trigg and Rodgers. So Rodgers, again, has athleticism as well, but his limited production made him hard to be someone that a tight end that teams would bet on the draft. If he can contribute on special teams, Rodgers will have a chance to make the roster as a rookie while he continues to develop. So, interesting, good note there. Two good tight ends that are vying for that fourth spot on this team. Let's move to wide receiver. Or wide receivers, I guess. SMU, Southern Methodist University, Dallas Day guy. Wide receiver Jordan Hudson. He was born and raised in Dallas. Hudson initially committed to TCU before he transferred to SMU. His role grew each year and he became the top receiver in the SMU Mustangs team this past season. He only finished with 785 receiving yards and 6 touchdowns, but it was a very crowded receiving room. So, again, pretty good for being an undrafted guy in a room full of receivers in college. Now, he was graded as a 6th or 7th round prospect and the 33rd best receiver in the draft. So getting him as an undrafted free agent is a steal if he can produce something and be bottom end, low end, maybe a guy who can play, practice squad reps and stuff like that. That very easily can be there, in my opinion, for Hudson. But he's going to have to work to make the roster, like I said, and he has the talent to be in the mix at best for the final Cowboys spot on the starting team. At worst, I think he's guaranteed himself a spot on the. As long as he plays well, he's going to be part of the practice squad. And that's where he'll probably end up. Now, another receiver from Georgia State, another big name, kind of undrafted guy, Camden Brown. A lot of people like him. He spent 3 years buried on the depth chart at Auburn, and then he said, "Fuck this." He went to Georgia State, and this last year, and there he became the Georgia State Eagles' top target in their passing attack. He racked up 1,088 yards. He had 14 touchdowns on 66 catches. So obviously a lesser division, obviously in college, but he definitely put up some numbers. Not a risk there to put, throw him in the offense and see what he can do. He's an outside receiver. He is 6'2", which makes him he's not a speedy Turpin guy. He's an outside guy. He showed an ability to use his height and his frame to be aggressive at the top of the catch point. 22 of his 66 catches were charted as contested catches. So basically a third of his catches that he was able to make were contested, were very difficult. So he makes tough catches in the red zone, in the end zone, down the field. He just only had 2 drops. With all those contested catches, he had 2 drops, showcasing strong hands. The problem with him, he never really had any yak. He never really proved anything yards after the catch. So he just caught the ball and went down. But hey, listen, when it's 3rd and 7 and you need to get 8 yards and he catches the ball and goes down, that works for me. I'm just saying. So Camden Brown from Georgia State, buried on Auburn's receiving list, but made a name for himself in Georgia State, and now with the Dallas Cowboys. Now you also have at running back, let's move to running back, also running back, Dominic Richardson. Now we know Javonte Williams is the bell cow for the Cowboys, and we talked about Chubb. Will he come in? I don't think he's going to be one of the names, although I'm hearing that name around there. To me, the Cowboys, after Javonte Williams, is kind of a sneaky need this offseason, right? We talked about this as maybe getting a running back, but Dominic Richardson's going to have a decent chance to at least prove that he can maybe make the 53. Maybe can he beat out Jaden Blue? I'm just saying, is that hard to do? So Dominic Richardson, guys, he's going to have a good chance to provide being a steal in a way at running back. Not that long ago, in 2022, Richardson led Oklahoma State in rushing with 560 yards and 8 touchdown runs. However, the rise of Ollie Gordon prompted him to transfer to Baylor. So he left the Baylor after being basically pushed away by Ollie Gordon. So he went to Baylor. In his first year with the Baylor Bears, Richardson once again led the team with 519 rushing yards, but he only had 1 touchdown. And in the end, guys, he ultimately wound up redshirting the next year after 4 games due to basically a crowded running back room in Baylor. And then he transferred to Tulsa. That was this past year. And Tulsa, as the unquestioned starter, Dominic Richardson delivered with 1,060 yards and 5 touchdowns. So you can see when it's a crowded room, he doesn't get opportunities, not get much production. But and when you see a guy come up like Ollie Gordon, and he takes over the starting spot, he's he's to a second, third guy. But when he has a chance to like flourish, and it's not a bad division either. I'm just saying, I know that the Tulsa division. So what I'm trying to say is that, or conference, 1,060 yards, not bad with 5 touchdowns. And he's looked upon as just trying to make this team as an undrafted guy. Now, we'll go to offensive line. Here's a guy I think we need to talk about from Kentucky, offensive tackle, Shayazi? I don't know, Shayaz Pete. Absolutely mountain of a man. Guy, Shayaz Pete is listed at 6'9", 322 pounds. Literally towers over everyone. And again, it's funny because he played left tackle for New Mexico State, and he dominated 3 years there, giving up just 5 pressures in his junior year. But he struggled when he adjusted and moved to the SEC, Southeastern Conference. Yeah. So again, there he allowed 25. In Kentucky, he allowed 25 pressures. A lot. He allowed 6 sacks at left tackle. Those 2 numbers are career worsts for him, which dropped him out the draft, basically. And that's with just his lone season, the 1 year with better competition. So that's not a good look for him. But still, Pete has rare size and a lengthy resume in terms of the number of games he's played. Though his height may need him to move inside to a guard position in the NFL. We'll see. But usually the tallest are tackles. So him at guard at 6'9" would be something else. But he is 322. So we'll see what happens. But a guy we got to keep an eye on there, Shazay Pete. And we got Sidney Fugar. Sidney Fugar he's from Baylor, and he's also an offensive tackle. Sticking with that theme of large offensive linemen, he clocks in at 343 pounds. And he's only 6'5". He's 4 inches shorter than Pete. But he's also 20 pounds bigger. Primarily a left tackle in his collegiate career, which included stops at Western Illinois, South Carolina, and finally at Baylor, Fugar has made multiple starts at left guard and also right tackle. So he's been left tackle, left guard, and right tackle. Kind of a swing guy around there. Across 2 years as a starter at Baylor, Fugar gave up just 4 sacks and 24 pressures in those 2 years. He's not overly athletic, though. And his weight, being that big, played a part in him going undrafted. Keep that in mind as well. But the key thing is this is one of those things where he has a shot to make even the practice squad roster at the inside spot. So basically at a guard position. Another guy they got as a tackle, a big guy at tackle, they might have to move him to guard when it comes to depth for the Cowboys. So we'll see what happens. But he also has technical refinement and a motor that runs nonstop. So those are 2 positives going into this with an undrafted guy like Fugar. But yeah, just a versatile depth option, but might have to move to guard. Let's just put it that way. Now, the last offensive player we got was another DJ Wingfield. When it comes to the offensive player on the practice squad, the Cowboys agreed to terms with rookie free agent offensive lineman DJ Wingfield, who measured in at 6'4", 316. Tried out for the Cowboys over the weekend after the draft. What was it, May 3rd, May 4th, during the rookie minicamp, and is now in line to be the 12th undrafted free agent. He is the 12th undrafted free agent the Cowboys signed after starting 12 games at right guard for Purdue in 2024. Wingfield transferred to USC. However, he was unaware that his collegiate eligibility had expired. So he lost his appeal with the NCAA, and he did not play in 2025. So he's a guy that has great potential. Well, just based on the rule situation, he was not able to play last year, so he dropped out of the draft, basically. I mean, he was no one drafted him. No one wanted to take a chance on him, right? So, in my opinion, he's a guy that very worth signing as an undrafted player. And even if he didn't play last year, now though he's set to return to the football field in Dallas. Cowboys reached their goal of adding those 10 to 12 undrafted free agents. This is the last guy that we signed out of the 12. Stephen Jones did say that at the end of the draft, he was looking at 10 to 12 guys that we were going to look at as unsigned. So Wingfield is one of 6 tryout players the Cowboys hosted over the weekend, and he stayed on the team. I'm pretty sure he's one of the guys that the Cowboys had at rookie minicamp, and we signed him there. It's crazy because the Cowboys also then, right before that, signed another DJ. That was the offensive line DJ. We have a defensive line DJ. Not the tight end DJ. We have DJ Withers, defensive tackle. He's wearing number 59 for the Cowboys. He's 6'4", 294 pounds from Kansas. And he spent 4 years at Kansas in the middle of their defensive line. He combined for 37 tackles and 5 sacks over his last 2 years with the Jayhawks. He's a native of Little Rock, Arkansas, and he spent a lot of time playing with Dunn Jr. And I'll explain him in a minute because he's another Cowboy undrafted signing.
So,
Here's the chat up real quick, baby.
yeah, no problem. Seabass thrown out there. It's really cool to have a Navajo Nation man on the squad. That dude towers over all.
6'9".
So, and it is just really cool overall to see how much more representation the NFL has had the last few years.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
So, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. So, we moving in. You better talk. Oh man, I'm not good actually. Give me a minute.
No, all good. Take a second. Haven't even had a commercial break this entire show. So, with that said, guys, take a second to hit like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, follow us anywhere and everywhere at MyCowboysFamily. Of course, you can hop in the Discord. The link for that is in the description box down below. And an extra special shout out to the people representing here. You see the man Calvin Richard, who just took over as the stream boss.
How'd that happen?
Loaded up. You guys know how it happened. Saw him drop the super chats.
That's so weird because we had Skeptical Fan there. I'm completely confused. How did that happen?
Are you sure you maybe didn't get them mixed up? Okay, so
No,
then I guess
that's very weird.
so
He had
then I
100
guess-
points. All of a sudden, it went to 100 to Calvin Richard. I don't know what's going on. That's really weird.
Well, I guess YouTube's fucking up in a multitude of ways. But back to the sponsor of the quarter.
Yes, the man Marco Seppian.
Big mahalo to the man Mark, and of course your Cash App King, Skeptical Fan.
Always staying skeptical. Yes,
You know it.
and our leader right now, actually in the Cash App, is Jeremy Betts. Big shouts to him. As I've always said here, there's a lot of ways to drop the love, YouTube side or the After Dark side, which these are the different ways of doing that. So shout outs there for those that have done that, and appreciate everybody who's dropped the love tonight here. We got us basically halfway to the goal, but I have about 3 more players to talk about, and then it's a wrap for tonight, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and I hope you guys enjoyed the replay on this. If those that are watching, drop your comments, drop your thoughts, and drop a thanks if you want. That's also possible as well. And a big thanks to the people joining the membership today: Seabass in the silver level, Hayward Reed and the navy blue crew, Skeptical Fan dropping some love. He took over the top spot there. Calvin Richard, though, he got a bunch of love and did take over that top spot there. And Aussie's still in first place on the overall board, although the others are coming. They're closer. Marco Seppian and John Luna and others moving on up there. J.D. Burton. So, anyways, as I continue this list here, guys, defensive tackle from Virginia Tech, Kelvin Gilliam Jr., originally an Oklahoma Sooner. He struggled to see the field in his 3 years there and transferred to Virginia Tech, coming into a program that would basically fire their head coach in the second year there. So he managed to carve out a consistent role on the defensive line, but rotationally. And then he struggled to produce because he was not playing as much, not that many snaps. He only had 4 sacks in 2 years with the Hokies, never topping 20 pressures in a season. Now, he is a decent run stopper, but at 296 pounds, he's going to be just too small to be a defensive tackle in the NFL. Or interior defensive lineman with the Dallas Cowboys, with the way that maybe in Marinelli's defense, but not in Christian Parker's defense. We need big guys there, so he's not going to fit there. It's going to be tough for him to make this at best practice squad for him. Now that other guy we talked about, DJ Withers from Kansas. We have his buddy there from Kansas, DJ defensive tackle who also plays defensive tackle with him.
DJs.
No, he played. Both of them are defensive tackles, but this is a Tommy Dunn Jr., who is again a guy that played with DJ Withers in Kansas. And now the Cowboys are trying to bolster their depth on the interior of the defensive line. Like I said, we got Tommy Dunn Jr. After 3 progressively better seasons after another he had at Kansas. Initially, he was just a role player, rotational player. Then he amassed 4 sacks, 21 pressures between 2023 and 2024, and then stepped into a starting role this year. Ended up with 3 sacks, 18 pressures for the entire season. He also took a major step forward as a run stopper. He's getting better every year, so that's a good sign for Tommy Dunn. And again, he did cut down on missed tackles. That was his worst thing, missed tackle rate. He's 6'3", 305 pounds, solid, big body. Seems to be getting better and better to develop to provide a decent development depth for the Dallas Cowboys defense and interior line. So a good name to remember there. Last but not least, linebacker. We didn't get a safety or a corner. Think about that for a second. But we did get a linebacker, and his name is Langston Patterson from Vanderbilt. Cowboys may have found a starting linebacker with that D. Winters trade. Remember that from the Niners? But depth is a major question mark for the Cowboys. Vanderbilt linebacker Langston Patterson has the grit and tenacity to possibly be like a depth guy for the Cowboys. Maybe answering that question mark, we'll see. But he is a known tackling machine. Finished among the top 2 in tackles for the Commodores in Vanderbilt. Each of the last 3 years, he was their highest graded run defender. This past year as well, he played an integral role in Vanderbilt reaching a bowl game this year after having a very, very incredible season. And Patterson was known as the heart and soul of that defense. And he figures to be a feisty competitor for a roster spot in Dallas. Look for special teams for him to start and be feisty there. Langston Patterson, undrafted linebacker from Vanderbilt. Those are our 12 guys. I hope you guys got a good rundown and everything, because I don't want to just have an idea about our regular, drafted guys, which we talked about a lot in 3 full streams. But in this stream, we talked about everybody, veterans, rookies, and the undrafteds that we never really got to talk about the last time. I'm glad that I think we're all on the same page on all these guys. And you know what's next? Some OTAs. I'm going to finish this voluntary OTA stuff soon. We're going to get to that break in the summer after the mandatory mini camps. And then we get to training camp and the real shit starts going there. That's what we're talking about. That's when it really gets going. So, that's kind of a wrap on my side, baby. On your side, let me know any other comments, any of your thoughts, and the shout-outs, I guess, as we wrap it up. Guys, you guys got like halfway there. I'd say, let me see, what? Yeah, I'd say 50 would do it. It would put us over the top, but I know no one's going to do that now at this point. It's too late. It's all good. I was hoping for you guys. But right now, we just got like 4 people in the raffle. It sounds like for this upcoming quarter, and we're literally halfway through the quarter, right? A month and a half in. So we got
those odds. Those are pretty.
we got another month and a half. We'll see what happens. But in the meantime, baby, we got all the undrafted listed here. We talked about every single one, and in pretty good detail, I would say, when it comes to at least knowing what they're about. We talked about our draft class multiple times, and including today. Very important for the Cowboys to see the list at the bottom of the guys we got and the guys we got for the picks that we traded, like George Pickens, D. Winters, and others. So, don't forget about those guys either. We did get some players for some trades, and we talked about the schedule. I gave my 10-6 prediction, but it's all up in the air. It could be better, it could be worse, based on the other teams. Based on the teams they're playing, they might have got hurt. Based on us, they might have got hurt or look like shit. We don't know. So it's kind of difficult to do a prediction for now, but I do enjoy walking through the games like we did today as well. We got a great breakdown from all the moves the Cowboys have, all the signings we did make, the jersey numbers, the schedule, the undrafted guys, the rookie mini camp, the phase 1 of the workouts of the OTAs, which are just like workout voluntary phases. And we're caught up, guys. That's it. You're all good with me here. I think MCW, we brought that info, that news, info, and updates, as we always do. We only needed 2 hours to do it. That's what we roll here, guys. That's what we do it. So, baby, let's do it. Let's get the last comments, last thoughts, and let's get those final shout-outs.
Of course. We have the man Seabass in the house. Huge shout out to you. Of course, Kenzie Bands, much love. Aaron Aguilar representing. Skeptical fan always staying skeptical. Man himself, Calvin Richard in the house. We have Rhonda's lovely Sparks. Thanks for coming through saying hi.
Hello.
Rolling back, making sure I don't miss anybody here. I know we had Azteca Aguilar 04 in the house. Rolling back here. Oh my gosh, me and my 5 fingers. I'm just trying to make sure I don't accidentally miss. Oh, there we go. Mike Aldana, what's up? Much love to you as well. We had the Chuck Taylor in the house, Manuel Trillo, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights,
Yeah.
Top Dog Dwayne Broussard,
Hell yeah.
Willie Siegel,
No,
Hayward Dreed. Let me see. I think that's everybody here. Yep. So with that said, guys, again, thank you so much for taking time out of your night. But we just have one last thing.
Hey, remind them why we do this, baby. Why do we do what we do here? As we've done for 9 years on YouTube, as we've done for 10 seasons of our reactions and stuff.
It's that navy blue.
You know it.
That silver too.
Hell yeah.
And that star over everything.
You know it.
Have a good night, Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus in the house. Much love to you, brother. Here at My Cowboys Family, it's about that navy blue, silver, and star, but we rep that star no matter what over every coach we've had, every player we've had, every owner, even dirty ass Jerry Ass Jones. The star over everything here at MCF. Never forget My Cowboys Family. Win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or ugly, we always rep that star over everything. And never forget here on this channel for 9 years, 10 seasons of talking about our Cowboys and getting more gray hairs. Never forget on this channel, it's always about one thing and one thing only. Say it with us, say it loud, and say it proud. No matter what, here on MCF, go Cowboys. Let's get that 6 and 26, motherfuckers. Let's go. Damn right, Scorpio. I see you in there. Cheers, brother. Go Cowboys. On that note, guys, we are done. We're good. We're gonna wrap it up. We appreciate you guys dropping your knowledge in the chat all night long. We appreciate you guys who dropped that love from above throughout the night, especially the first half. Appreciate you all. Seabass in that silver level. Maybe going upgrading to that top shelf systems. We'll see what happens at star level. We got Hayward Reed. Much love to him. He is in that navy blue crew. We got Skeptical Fan with a couple drops in there. We got Calvin Richard, the top dropper of the night. Appreciate all of you guys. Cannot do this without your love and support. And baby, as I said, chat dropped the knowledge. You guys dropped the love. Now it's time to drop out and clock out of here. We'll be back sooner than this last time. We'll be back for more Dallas Cowboy news, info, and updates. But baby, before we can get on out of here and drop out for the night, what do we got to do?
We got to drop the beat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sexy and Scorpio, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a wrap here at MCF, My Cowboys Family, with the wife and I, and you guys, the family, and those watching on the replay. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. You could be anywhere. You're here with us, rocking with the Cowboy news, info, and updates, as we always try to do on the regular, at the very least, on the regular, every couple of weeks, at the very least. And during the season, you know we do it for every game. So, guys, on that note, thank you all for being here. You guys know what went down. If you know the thumbnail, you know what went down. There's that number 13 by Caleb Downs. He's down, but is Pickens going to be down for this season? We'll see what happens. We got the schedule. We got the practice in. These padless practices will be going on for the next few weeks, and then it's on mandatory mini camp, and it's on and beyond, guys. Let's see what happens as we wrap here on another Cowboys chat here on MCF. It's about that navy blue, that silver too, and that star over everything. Never ever forget the number one thing right here on My Cowboys Family. You guys making it what it is, repping that star over everything, and hitting that like button for the stream, hitting that subscribe button for the channel. Don't forget, hit that notification bell as well to all videos, because we drop shorts, we drop short videos, we drop shorts, We drop live streams, of course, and more posts. So make sure you hit the notification bell on to all videos. Follow us on all social media, Twitter, all that stuff. MyCowboysFamily. And of course, we also have a Discord. You can jump into that as well. Guys, take care. Have a great rest of your time as we get rolling towards the 2026 season. We'll see you back here soon again. Much love to all. And never ever forget, Cowboys.
Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat. Monk on the beat.